Lynx are shredding one, shredding two.
Valiant keep on moving.
There we go, Houston Outlaws. Valiant holding strong.
Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena. I am Aaron Stevie, and this next match has some awesome playoff implications. We've got the Houston Outlaws versus the LA Valiant. Let me hear my Valiant fans. All right, all right. Let me hear my Outlaw fans. Where are my Outlaws at? Right on, all right. It sounds like they're ready. I'm gonna throw it right on over to you, Golden Boy. Break it down for us.
Thank you so much, Aaron. You know, it's very clear here that, you know, Aaron's just going for the cheap pops at this point in time. You know, like, oh, man, let's give it up for the LA Valiant. Let's give it up. Yeah, no one's going with me.
How odd. It did not
That
work
one
for
hurt.
you. Wow.
That one hurt my
Okay.
soul. Anyway, welcome back, everyone. Golden Boy alongside with Reinforced, Crumbs, and Zoe.
Yeah, I'll give it up.
Thanks. Hey, give it up, man.
Yeah, give it up, man.
Look at you, bud.
great.
Look at you. I really wish that people would have clapped with me at the moment that I said, give it up for the LA Valiant.
No, you're trying.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes! I have the power! All right.
okay. Yep.
Let's look at the schedule. All right, so we just saw the Fusion take on the Dynasty, and the Dynasty continue to stand tall at the top of stage 2 as they will get that victory and sit there with 3-1. Now we're going to be going into match number 2, the Outlaws and the Valiant. Our last game of the day, of course, the Uprising and the Dragons. But folks, it is now time to get into our matchup. Let's go ahead and welcome to the stage the Houston Outlaws. 9-5 overall, 2-2 in stage 2.
What did the glasses say?
What happened? Oh, snap. Kapow. I think
It's so spicy.
it's the spiciest. The spiciest.
Yeah. I think the Houston Outlaws squad has actually played pretty well throughout stage 2 thus far. They have a passive style going for them. They like the anti-dive kind of stuff, and I think it looked pretty good, but they ran into a brick wall, of course, last week when they ran into Philadelphia and New York, 2 of the best teams in the league during stage 2, of course. So I think that if they get some more better tracer roles adapted, of course, Jake hasn't been up to par. Now they have Clockwork in. I think if they fix their issues with the tracer, this squad can do great. Ciao!
Beautiful.
We have that.
Absolutely
Even
wonderful.
spicier.
Here it is. Now, yeah, they did lose against NYXL. However, they told me after that match that they have learned a lot. They have been very self-reflective after that game, saying that they're now aware of what compositions they struggle to play with and against. And
Okay.
they found some holes in their own preparations. So I'm sure adjustments have been made coming into this match today against the Valiant.
I mean, they seem in high spirits here, and you wouldn't be in high spirits if you didn't know what you have to be
that
doing to make a win. So
point?
it's great to see this team coming out like this. And you got Clockwork that's going to bring the Tracer today. So we'll see how he shores up that perceived weakness, or maybe he just deviates from it.
Always to see a veteran, always a pleasure to see a veteran like Clockwork in the lineup. We'll see what he can do. But now, let's welcome to the stage the Los Angeles Valiant. Here come the Valiant coming off of a crushing loss against their rivals in the Battle of LA, losing 4-0. The Gladiators stand tall, but on this day, the Valiant, they're looking to get that redemption.
They are looking for redemption, Golden Boy, but they have had a very easy schedule that has thrown things off, to say the least, because they were able to beat San Francisco, Dallas, and Shanghai pretty decisively. Some of them were a little bit close, but they got 4-0'd by Seoul. Then they got 4-0'd by the Gladiators yesterday. So this team has been struggling against the top-tier teams, or teams even at the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and as we see, they've changed up. Kareev, of course, is now a DPS player, moved over from the support role. And I'm not so sure that Kareev is necessarily the superstar DPS you need in the Overwatch League thus far. It was a pretty sudden transition, I think you have to say. And he is a shot caller on the team. That's worth noting. He's a shot caller, so you need him in the game to structure the team. But his skills hasn't necessarily translated to the DPS role as good.
Yeah, but I think I already mentioned that when we saw him on that DPS role for the first time, that their coaching staff has said this is a long-term investment. It might hurt them in this stage, but maybe it's going to pay off for the next few stages. And they're coming in with confidence. They said that they think the Houston Outlaws is definitely a team they can take on. They didn't say they're going to win against them, but they said they can take them on, so I can't wait to see.
Which they will,
right?
so that's a fact,
Yeah,
actually.
right,
They will
facts.
take them on.
They will take them on.
It was factual correct, so
You're right.
congratulations.
They got to give you more. You know, they got to give you more. Sorry, but I do agree with what you're saying as far as, you know, is this a team that they can match up against and succeed against? I mean, yeah, you know, given how Outlaws have been performing as of late, I do agree with that assessment. But the Valiant, still though, after yesterday,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was
Man.
a crushing defeat.
So they have Karib, right? And the debate is, do you have Karib or Agilities or Silk Thread? And I think Hydration pointed out something very, very clear, that when he played against, I think it was Silk Thread, that he was just hard carrying. And what happens with Agilities and Silk Thread is that these players are not as consistent as Karib, and their hero pools are not as deep. But they are way more clutch. I mean, when these guys come up big, they're single-handedly carrying maps
Yeah.
and then carrying even series. However, you can't expect them to do that all the time, and I think that's what has been causing a lot of issues for this team.
And I'd like to add, of course, like I said, Karib is a shot caller. So if you sub out Karib for one of those DPS players, do you have to put Karib back on the support role? Because Unko is not necessarily the most vocal support player out of anyone, and you need someone to call the shots in game, right? So there's a lot of subs going on.
A lot of times you have the tanks doing the shot calling. There's really very few teams that have the DPS taking on the shot calling.
Yeah, but you still need the one in the support, on one of the support to be like, hey, I need some help. I got a Tracer and a Genji on me, you know? And then you need your front line to communicate, of course. So you need more than one shot caller in many ways.
Yeah, but now one topic that we've kind of been bringing on quite a bit here is the identity of a team, right? And Zoe, how do these squads feel about their identity as a unit moving into this match?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear if you've been watching the Valiant as well as the Houston Outlaws play in Stage 2 so far. From the very first match in this very stage, Houston Outlaws just look like they know what they're doing. They know what they're comfortable with, and it really showed in their results. On the other side, we have the Valiant, who struggle to find their footing, who struggle to find an identity, and they have been experimenting a lot more. So that's kind of the reason why I think the Outlaws might have the edge today.
Okay, all right.
All
So
right.
that you're giving it to
Calling
the
it
Outlaws.
right there.
I mean, I've been looking through. I'm like, predictions. I don't know, but you know what?
Hey, I don't need to be asked for it, all right?
Pearl,
I can
you're
predict whenever I
committed.
want.
And I respect the grind, baby. That's what's up. All right. So we're going to see soon in the team probably my favorite chant in the entirety of the Blizzard Arena.
Yeah, there it goes.
Easy.
Goes.
The power. But soon, this guy, he's a world-class player. He has the potential, to shut down
Yeah,
any
he's
teams.
pretty inconsistent, but when he pops off, I mean, he is so good. And here you see him go up against the San Francisco Shock, of course. In many of these games, you can see Soon start to pop off, and he just carries the game. And then in other games, like yesterday, he just doesn't turn up as much. He gets shut down by Asher. And so I think this is a key player for the Los Angeles Valiant. If the Valiant are going to win and beat the Houston Outlaws today, Soon really has to be heard in the crowd.
Well, it's a two-way street, and we saw yesterday in other matches too what happens when you let a Tracer go unchecked, and that was Bunny just doing whatever he wants, and the same thing can happen today here. If Soon is allowed to just do his thing and nobody's putting pressure on him trying to force his recalls, that's like the biggest thing about Tracer. You need to force those recalls so that they are sitting there waiting for that cooldown before they can go aggressive again. If that doesn't happen, he's just going to pop off. If it does, he might start going with that inconsistent path, because this team, when it goes down, they go down hard. 0-4 in all their losses so far.
Yeah. Now we know that Houston Outlaws haven't had the best Tracer play coming out as of recently, so it just adds to the fact really that in this case, Soon has to be the one stepping up, because Houston Outlaws, they have struggled with their Tracer play.
Yeah, well, you know what, gentlemen? You guys, if I let you go on forever, we'll be here all day. Which is a good thing, because clearly you have a lot to talk about. That's what the halftime's
Overwatch is
for.
pretty cool, man.
Overwatch is pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, it's time to get into the game. Can we get some hype in the crowd over here? I like that. I like that. All right, well, let's go ahead and send it over to my favorite ride-sharing service. We got Uber next.
He's not wrong, really, is he? You do drive me to work every day.
You know what?
Here when I need it.
There was somebody in the crowd with the let Reaper recycle guns sign. It's like, let Golden Boy recycle jokes. He's already been doing that though for years.
So no one needs to ask him or allow him to do that. Guys, welcome back to the Blizzard Arena. An interesting one now on our hands. The Los Angeles Valiant 10-5. The Houston Outlaws 9-5. So for the Valiant, they're playing 2 games in a row, obviously on Wednesday and Thursday. So the whole week kind of happens here. they don't have much chance to recover from the drubbing they suffered last night.
I think a lot of people have the same emotions that Golden Boy had on the desk. He's like, this should be a close game. But that 0-4 the other night from the Gladiators to the Valiant definitely makes you think that the Outlaws have the upper hand going into this match, although the Outlaws did lose 2 games last week as well. It's kind of like their first 2 losses pretty much since like the Seoul match.
It was humbling. That stuff came at
Stage 1
real fast. That first match, obviously, losing in the map 5 against the Philadelphia Fusion for the Outlaws was a tough pill to swallow. And then the New York Excelsior just made mincemeat of them. So they've had to go back to the drawing board after their own fashion.
I mean, you go back to the drawing board, you have some time if you're the Outlaws. You don't have much time if you're the Valiant, right? I mean, you lose that match last night, you come in here, you play a second match today. There's not much they can change up coming into this match.
I mean, yeah, they have some options. I mean, you're going to be interested now as we jump into game and you actually see maybe some of the role assignments here. I would be curious now to see, obviously Kareev still performing obviously in that Widowmaker role, right? We're going to see soon on that Tracer. That's one point where I think that maybe the Valiant can actually, apply some pressure to the Outlaws. We've noticed in the past that over that last week, Jake and Clockwork both, had to go up against these top-level Tracers and weren't always able to come out on top. That could be an exploitable weakness present with the Outlaws.
And I mean, Jake has had some good Tracer performances. Same with Clockwork. I mean, last week you're going up against Savilby, right? It's one of the best Tracers in the world, if not the best. Obviously, he makes a lot of Tracers look kind of bad. Even on a good day for some other Tracers.
Sure.
I think what they can do, right, with either Jake in the lineup, right, he can play 76 map 1. Clockwork is in if you wanted to have Clockwork play Soldier or Widow. We saw him play Widow in the Soul match. He was pretty up to par.
Pretty good.
I mean, there's some options, right, that the Outlaws have. See if they try anything different this week. They won't be trying Symmetra on offense. Muma will switch. The speed pretty standard from the Outlaws. No 76, but still going to try and go for that high ground with the Widowmaker.
Again, it's all a matter of getting into position. Right now, the Outlaws are going to use Coolmat to sort of be their front runner and just to check the corners, do a bit of scouting and make sure that they can get a high ground position without taking damage or suffering losses in terms of players here. Lynx are also being fairly conservative. Here's the first line of defense, so it's soon setting up with a bit of harassment.
Yeah, but he can't harass for too long because Lynxer's getting pocketed by Boink on Mercy, so not going to be able to really kind of chunk down through that HP. See, every time Lynxer puts a shot in, he looks up towards his doorway. It's an unfortunate time to be reloading there as may have been able to get a shot off. He knows where Unko's playing as well. He keeps looking to that back left corner. That's where Unko has been poking out time and time again.
Lynxer receives a poison mine, so his position's going to be revealed to Kareev now for the next couple of seconds. And the Outlaws have been trying to wrap around this right side onto the point, but they've actually made very little progress so far. Boomer and Coolmat have taken a fair bit of damage, so they need to sort of wait for Boink to keep them topped up. But again, it's a slow and steady approach here for the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah, they're just making a little bit of progress, right? You see they just keep forcing the Valiant back. The Valiant not playing with a Sombra here, right? So not gaining, the benefits of those extra mega health packs. Raucus uses Transcendence as Boink. Will also use Valkyrie here. So both support ults used here by the Outlaws. Unko just gets his Transcendence now as he's going to pop it right away.
Soon just lost that little head-to-head against Clockwork and actually had to retreat and get out of the fight. It was a later Transcendence from the Valiant, so they have that healing present now. Clockwork looks to the skies, but Envy claims Boink and Muma. Great self-destruct in over the top. This Los Angeles Valiant defense is looking very strong. Very few teams can say that they've been able to take such a protracted engagement trying to protect point A on this map and have actually come out on top. Lovely stuff from the D.Va player from Los Angeles.
Yeah, now Raucus will jump off the side. Coolmat will go all the way back. We'll take a look at the replay here from Envy. He actually just tosses it over the side here. And when that's going down, Coolmat's actually trying to go into the back and help Boink. He's falling all the way back. Muma drops there as well. Unfortunately, not able to get out of the way. So it'll be in for insight from both Widowmakers here. So everybody's going to know where everybody else is at.
That's right. Both of those voice lines coming up pretty much at the same time. Lynxer used his to respond to Kareev's, so he would at least not lose that upper hand, or at least his opponent wouldn't have an advantage. Kareev playing in close quarters. Muma there goes down. It's a pulse bomb from Soon. He started off this game quite well, to be fair, and Clockwork's looking to do the same. Attempt to find a pulse bomb kill of his own, but Kareev waiting on the lower levels.
And right now, you really haven't been able to get much of anything with Lynxer playing the Widowmaker. You haven't really been able to create those sightlines. The Valiant playing very well here. It's a big pulse bomb, though, from Clockwork. It does get him weak. It's going to force out Primal Rage.
Now, Fate needs to do something with this because Soon and Kareev are missing, so the DPS now has been neutralized for the Los Angeles Valiant. They need to look to elsewhere for their options to try and sustain this fight or drag it out, but I don't think they're going to have it. Clockwork now has got a bit of room to breathe, and you can see what he can do with it. Envy desuited. And that will be it. A very, very drawn out little skirmish over this first point. And in all fairness, Matt, the Outlaws did lose about 3 minutes and 10 seconds trying to get point A. That is longer than usual.
Yeah, it was a very good defense there from the Los Angeles Valiant. Let's see if they can hold here on point B as Lynx are at its infra site. Now the Outlaws are going to gain that advantage, being able to see everybody through the walls. Kareem nowhere close to his. As see Verbo's HP getting very low at the top. Maybe force, okay, he doesn't have to use Valkyrie right away. He's going to get top back up to full HP, but you see some progress being made by the Outlaws here on the point.
Preemptive Valkyrie coming out from Boink here, just as Boomer found Unco. He does go down in the process. Alexa, though, has a safe spot here to try and get some picks. Envy's not paying much attention to him right now. Kareem is, though, waiting for him to pick the corner. Gets his opposite number, and in the sniper battle, this time it's the green and gold who come out trumps. Cormac trying to pressure in the defense matrix here, but Envy making it hard for his micro rockets to find their target. He'll have to back up now as the rest of the Valiant have bolstered the high ground position and forced the Outlaws back.
And you see, you know, from Lynxer's POV, those are some shots he usually hits. I mean, there's sometimes with a Widowmaker, you know, you talk about so much positioning and whatnot. I mean, you could be in the best position, you still have to hit shots, right? I mean, Kareev right now, you know, 46% scoped accuracy to Lynxer's 37%. So you can see Kareev able to land these shots, you know, chunk down some HP a little bit better right now.
And people saying he's maybe not a clutch player, but he's consistent. Lynxer gets vaporized by Soon, drops the pulse bomb directly on top of him. His last 2 pulse bombs have been widely successful, but Boink was able to get the resurrect there. So Soon's pulse bomb is for naught, then the Lynxer responds, waits for Soon to be waiting the low levels, and Kareev gets a big hit there, moving down. Unco helping him out with the extra damage. 4 players up for the Outlaws, and they've actually had to back away straight to the opening. This is a great sign for the Valiant, where they can take a breather.
I mean, the Outlaws pick up some kills, but they lose both tanks in that whole sequence. So we'll see if they stay on with this comp for much longer. I mean, they could actually have Lynxer play Genji, right? I mean, if you have somebody who's not necessarily new to the DPS role, but playing it in Overwatch League, right? Kareev's played DPS in the past, but you know, maybe you put some pressure on, really test them, bring out that Genji, go right at him.
Kareev and Lynxer are a little bit out of sync in those infra sights. Straight to the sky, wings out, and Kareev delivers the killing blow. Lynxer hastily brought back to life, but I reckon Kareev there might have been psychological damage. He's also been able to inflict on his opponent. Coolmat, the next one down. I don't know what they're saying. He's looking like a bit of a clutch player right now, and the infra sight's going to make it easy for Kareev to find these targets. The Valiant building around this Widowmaker, and Kareev's delivering.
Yeah, he has been really good on Widowmaker to start out. Volskaya, he's going to jump on top again. And here's the switch. That's exactly what I was talking about. Lynxer going over to Genji. I like this decision. They get up top. They're able to get a pick onto Kareev fast. You'll have Mooma and Coolmat getting back into the fight. Let's see if the Outlaws can make any progress on the point. They have both support ults now.
Big pulse bomb, that's going to take some of the pressure away. Coolmat has had his mech removed from the game. Soon waiting in the wings, off to the side. Did get a bit of healing for the double transcendence. They went over the point, so it's going to be tough for either of these tracers to whittle each other down until they expire, which is now. Rourke is on the outside. Clockwork falls to Envy self-destruct, which was placed directly up on the point. But Unco again being battled around by Mooma for the 2nd time on this point. He falls to a primal rage. Envy drops down, surveys the situation. Kareev's bringing in the Edgelord. The Reaper now hits the battlefield.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit more Reaper than I expected. You know, we saw Munchkin play it in the last series. Now Kareev seems like, you know, after the Widowmaker, you fall back on Reaper.
You played a bunch yesterday in this series, on Gibraltar especially.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit. No, it's interesting. It's you know, one of the speaking to a lot of the players, you know, doing some of the Toyota shoots. I always ask, you know, even if it was just kind of off camera, it's like, well, what is the hero you expect to see a lot of in stage 2? And they actually all said they expected to see more Reaper, because I think they expected to be a little bit more tank heavy. But you're still seeing a solid amount of Reaper play here in stage 2.
Soon. Another pulse bomb. He's been very good with these so far, and already the Outlaws are in full scale retreat because Kareev's just hit Lynxer with a face full of buckshot from the Hellfire shotguns. Clockwork also down, and this is good. Kareev getting towards a, you know, I don't mind the Reaper here, but we notice he's very easily shut down when he's death blossoming by a Genji Reflect. Then we saw that a lot on Hanamura yesterday when Kareev was trying to, you know, stall out, and then, it would have been hydration jumps. He gets Mad Reflex on him and kills him during his ult.
Mad Reflex.
Mad Reflex.
Coming out from Genji.
Without the X, it's the ECTS, you know.
Cool, Matt was pushing a little bit up into the point. It's going to be Boy taken out soon as he tries to jump in for a pulse bomb. Raucus is going to use that Transcendence because Fate's using Primal Rage to just knock him back. but maybe the Outlaws can make some progress.
Kareem's got to stay safe, man.
Yeah, they jump on him for a second. Linkser does have this blade. No support ults right now. It's going to be Unko just getting transcended.
Oh, he's going to come on the death blossom now. It's going to be the Outlaws forced to back away. Self-destruct in. Kareem doesn't really pay it any heed. He goes into shadow form just as it activates. Unko down to a Dragon Blade. He's been focused down by a lot of these ultimate abilities, and Linkser can't close the gap with the Dragon Blade. He's forced to stand there with his silverware out and not able to have his meal. Sound barrier for Linkser though, and the rest of the Outlaws, most of them benefiting from that. They can get themselves at least one tick, but the Valiant, you know, they're going to be coming back in a matter of moments. 2 ticks now, going for a third, the Outlaws are, but they're going to be shunted away. Raucus falling, Linkser gets in front of Kareem and reflects a headshot straight back towards him. Clockwork leapt upon by Fates, he goes in over the top, and Coolmat's going to get desuited. Verbo rejoins the point here, Linkser's out, Coolmat's down, and so are the Outlaws. A full defense on point B for the Valiant, and the Outlaws fail to finish the map.
Really nice Reaper plays there from Kareev. Makes the switch as soon as he sees Linkser play Genji. It may not be the exact counter to a Genji we expect, right? Maybe you expect like a 76 or McCree to come out, but he goes and plays Reaper. Maybe they saw something with the Houston tank line playing a little bit further apart, right? Because Houston, not like a lot of other teams, they don't really play their tanks stacked on top of each other a lot of the time. No, Coolmat and Muma play pretty separate, doing different things. So maybe he saw an opportunity to just start chunking down one of these tanks alone.
Absolutely, and when Coolmat is the kind of player that maybe doesn't always have his defense matrix trained on Muma, it makes him incredibly susceptible to a Reaper. I do think Genji kind of slaps Reaper because, again, if you reflect his shots at close range, you'll almost be able to kill the Reaper straight away.
Well, he did that one time.
That's exactly what he did there just towards the end of the round. But both players switching off the Widowmakers. Linkser opting out of that one first, I believe, as Kareev seemed to have the upper hand. And again, this is that new look Valiant now. We're starting to understand a little bit more about Kareev, what he can provide now in this DPS position. And so far, so good. Yesterday was a rough game for them, but the Outlaws are ostensibly, on paper, a tougher opponent than the Gladiators were, or at least maybe not anymore, but still they're looking good. It's a good start at the very least.
Yeah, I think the match yesterday just surprised everybody with how well the Gladiators played. And
they always step up for those battles of LA as well. They always step up when they take on the Valiant. It's been 3 now. We had one in the preseason as well. So technically the Valiant had won 2 out of 3. But always that the Gladiators play above what I normally see from them, which is impressive.
Now it's can the Valiant bounce back, right? That's one thing we haven't seen from this new look. No roster, how much fight do they have back?
How much depth
back
have they got?
From an 0-4 match. And when do they move away from this if this isn't what they want to go with, right? I mean, it'd be kind of hard to now bring Agilities or Silk Dart back in a lineup when you committed so hard to this. But if it's not working like it does yesterday, do you just ride it out or do you make some changes? See now the Valiant, though, they'll go on offense. Pretty standard comp from them. It'll be a mirror on the opposing side.
Look at this. You can't see this because we were watching the tanks to the right. Then Kareem's already at 44% ult. He actually chunked Muma, Coolmat, and Linkser down one after another as they approached here. No kills. And I mean, Infosight's not the most impactful ultimate ability in the game, but it's an indicator of just how much damage Kareem's doing. He's starting to feel it. I can see this confidence. Look how far forward he's playing.
Well, I mean, Infosight is great for information, and it also makes the opponents just kind of second guess every move, right? You kind of have to play behind cover, especially with a Widowmaker. It's so good as he is lined up, boing, boing, don't
I think
you dare.
Boing's aware of this,
Okay, yeah.
Despite, but I mean, you're forcing the Mercy to stay inside and keep pocketing Linkser when, in the meantime, you've lost your Clockwork there as well, and that's going to be the mech removed. Kareem gets an extra damage in. And look, no one's really able to cross the gap and get to him because the rest of the Valiant are in between Kareem and the Outlaws. He sits back, he lets the rest of his team do the heavy lifting, and Linkser grapples to his own demise. That is a very clean, crisp approach to the first point for the Valiant.
Very
They'll have this one straight away.
That was picture perfect there from the Valiant. They did lose soon, but you're able to res it right back up. Muma jumps on Unko Verbo there to just pocket it all the way on through. It's interesting. I know from the Valiant, it's like you would have loved to know this or try this comp out a little bit earlier because remember in stage 1 they had so many like Mercy issues, right? It's like Verbo's been pretty good on the Mercy for them. They've been able to kind of make this lineup work pretty well.
Verbo's a very intelligent player, especially on the Mercy. Yesterday he did some crazy juking to get out of trouble, especially on Gibraltar. However, Unko, his compatriot, was not too lucky this time soon. I know you're thinking about it. You want a pulse pop, don't you? Linkser didn't even know it was placed at his feet. He probably had his shoes untied and wouldn't have known. Unfortunately, for that pulse bomb delivering soon, Linkser was brought back to life and he fell straight after. There was playmaking potential there, but Mercy still can res.
Yeah, and also Soon was not able to get out because he didn't have his recall at that moment in time. He had to use the recall before to get to the other side of that platform and then have to blink across all the way up the staircase. So used his recall a little bit early, didn't have that to get all the way back once he drops that pulse bomb. So res that right up. They'll res Kariv also. So obviously this is a not the live patch, but it's the one previously, right? No, Mercy does have the nerf. No Sombra buffs here though.
So Kariv has lost his last couple of head-to-heads with Linksa on that Widowmaker. So Linksa fairly comfortable right now, and he's just sort of settling into sitting in the back of on the back platform. Soon wasn't able to remove him before. He got resurrected. Now Soon you can see the rest of the Outlaws are trained on Soon. They know he's out there to try and kill Linksa. They're not allowing him to do so. Unko brought back to life. He was picked off on that back left platform from where we're looking. Most of the Outlaws are set up here on the platform, and there it is. Kariv finally gets that first kill. Is this the opening? Is this the start of something for the Valiant? Fate removed by Coolmat, and that's a resurrect yet again from Boink. So Lynx is back in the fold. Movement down though. He overextended. Verbo deals him with the Caduceus Blaster, and this might be it. Pulse Bomb, Raucous down. Unko falling to Coolmat and Clockwork, really trying to shore up the gaps here. He does get Envy's mech out of the picture. You can see from the high ground, Boink is trying to provide as much healing as he possibly can, but Coolmat's lost his mech again. Clockwork's doing an excellent job here of controlling the space. Envy removed. I think the Valiant had to pull out.
Yeah, Clockwork and Boink. Boink on Mercy able to just kind of dart from platform to platform. It was also, Muma just dove all the way into the back line. He forced Kariv off of that high ground. Also got Verbo to use his Valkyrie. He did end up losing his life. What did they decide right after that? With the Coolmat, Boink, and Clockwork alive, they sent Coolmat right into Kariv's face. They let Clockwork just kind of dance around the point with that Mercy pocket. It allows Boink to just play a little bit more freely, right? Knowing he's not going to just get drilled by Kariv. They're able to hold on.
In order to win the round, the Valiant needs 71.2% capture progress. Not a full capture, but most of the way there. Still need to win a big fight here to get that one started up. Self-destruct in. Soon has plans for this one. Perhaps a pulse bomb. Coolmat never got back inside of his mech after the self-destruct happened. He was taken down by Fate before he could. Now Soon's waiting. Is it Linksa that he goes for? He needs to get the health pack though. He does steal it away. Linksa had no chance to chase that one down, but Muma's back in the fight. Or is he? Pulse bomb! Muma down! Now Soon looking for the backline. That's Coolmat trying to desperately protect Boink and Raucous, who are cowering behind the wrap that Soon is providing, and the D-suit on Coolmat, making it so much harder to protect those squishy targets. One tick, 40%. The Valiant are ticking it up here. Now the auxiliaries have to come through for the Outlaws. The backline players need to step forward and deliver, and they cannot. Map 1, LA Valiant.
Boink actually used the Valkyrie there. He's trying to keep Linksa alive in that corner because Fate's using Primal Rage, just bashing him back, bashing him back. He actually goes and gets that res on Amuma. They end up killing Linksa, and then that res on Amuma, he just gets hit with that pulse bomb, so they get really nothing out of that Valkyrie.
So nasty. The Widowmaker battles really highlighted this match. Soon getting involved. We talked about maybe him. Johnny said he wasn't always consistent. The pulse bomb got delivered with alacrity this time around. One more map around the corner. Map 2, up soon.
Wait, Soon, you're ready? Yeah, he's ready. He's ready. Go. Yeah, I can go. Wait. Okay. 먹혀. 개지. 류원. 예. 디바운드. 류원. 개지. 미니. Jason one. Nice. That's not the move. I need help. Nice. Good job. Really good.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Last time I saw you, Shane, Overwatch World Cup, we're sitting there with the microphone and like...
My first live interview.
It was your first live interview?
My first interview.
Are you serious?
My first interview.
Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. It's funny that your first interview was never heard.
It was never heard, yeah.
The audio was completely out. Yeah, how was that experience, the whole World Cup experience to be?
The World Cup experience was like, so far that was like the highlight of my career because like that was when I first started like playing like super professionally.
Yeah. Was that around the time you started to build a bond with like Jake and Cool Matt?
Yeah, I think I hit it off really early with like Matt because Matt, I'm really similar to Matt. Like he like cracks a lot of jokes all the time, but he's also very serious in game.
Let's go, boys! Let's go! Let's go!
We're all extremely close friends. Like every single person, there's not like a single person that dislikes each other on this team. That's what makes this team so good.
That's why the chemistry's so good, right?
Yeah, we're such good friends that like it makes us want to work harder. When someone's down, we bring them back up. When I suffered some like experiences this month. My dad passed away. Yeah, my dad passed away, and my whole team like ended up doing stuff for me. They just cared, and they said I shouldn't have to worry about anything. And it was just like having people like that around you, constantly supporting you. It was like
it's a true brotherhood.
It seriously is. It
a
really
true
is.
family right there.
I can't thank them enough for that.
Is that kind of the reason why you dyed your hair? There's like a story.
Yeah, so I actually dyed my hair green. Yeah. Well, I dyed it platinum blonde, but green tips because my dad's favorite color was green.
Right.
So it was my way to like kind of honor him.
That is so sick. I know he's got to be forever proud of what you're doing, man.
Hope so.
This has been a big come up for you. Like in a matter of what, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
Look what you're doing, man. 2
or 3 years. He didn't expect it to. All those years of me playing games, he was always sitting behind the scenes. He was like, I don't really support this, but I hope you do well.
Right.
He actually bought me my first computer. He bought me a $3,000 computer. That was my first computer I've ever had.
Right.
And that's the reason why I was able to go pro, because having a computer like that just helped me get to the next level, helped me take it so much more seriously.
Right.
He believed in me, so it helped a lot.
Raucus on the supports was solid from game 1 all the way to game 4.
With all the trial and tribulation that you've gone through over the last month and just the last few years of getting where you are, what's the end goal? Like, what do you aspire to do right now?
I honestly just want to win. I was super competitive growing up because of my dad, actually.
Yeah.
He was better at everything at me. Mm-hmm. But I aspired to be as better than him at something. I wanted to be super competitive. And being able to be better than him at games was something really cool. But I get my competitiveness from him. And what I want to do is I want to win the Overwatch League.
Houston, they have a very strong team, great core, and these guys just really care about each other, just backing each other up. A lot more to play for as the year goes on.
Thank you so much for sitting down, man.
Thank you,
this chat, man. The first ever On Point with Raucus, man. This has been awesome, dude.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And there you have it, of course, our first edition of On Point with Malik. And of course, great to hear a little bit from Raucus there as well, obviously for him. It's been a huge come up, and lately times have been tough, but his team's been around him. This is quite an incredible player, by the way. Their team formed about mid-2016 to try and qualify for the Atlantic Showdown at Gamescom, one of the first big Overwatch tournaments in Europe. And it was just a group of guys from Ladder who really got along with each other. Fact Fiction was on the same team, and they didn't quite qualify for that tournament, but they got close. And from then on out, it was off to FaZe Clan and all the rest for these guys. A very storied history in Overwatch for all of these players. Of course, Jake, not the least of them coming in for Clockwork.
Yeah, he'll come in. He'll probably play the rest of the series. I mean, that's how they've been kind of running their subs, where Clockwork will play map 1, and then Jake will come in for the remaining maps. It'll be Lijiang Tower, map number 2 in this series. Valskaya went over to the Valiant, if you're just tuning in. I think it was a pretty dominant performance from the Valiant. I mean, although the Outlaws, they did take that first point, not able to make much progress on point B.
It's interesting to see how much this game, or at least after that map, how much we started to see the progress of these two teams orbit around that Widowmaker play. The head-to-head between Kariv and Linksa, and then that extra involvement from Soon, who, in all honesty, you notice that Clockwork was playing a little bit differently as well. He was playing a little bit more around his tanks and more about in those wide spaces. Yeah. He wasn't going for as many of those deep forays to try and deal with Kariv, especially when the Valiant were on the attacking side. So when Linksa is dealing with, both Soon's pressure and Kariv's pressure, it's tough, I mean, Clockwork had other jobs to do. He was out there, of course. But Soon loves to go in and get those assassinations, Matt, with the pulse bombs, and that's still going to be a factor as we go into Lijiang Tower here.
Well, I like what you see originally here from the Outlaws. Muma will play Winston in this comp, but you have Jake play Pharah, and Linkser play Tracer. You know, Jake has a lot of different heroes in his hero pool, right? I mean, he can play Roadhog, he can play Junkrat, Pharah, 76,
Hanzo.
he can play a little bit of Tracer, Hanzo, Genji. So, no, I feel like let him be the one who's changing all the time, right? Like Linkser should play like just that Tracer. He should play Widowmaker, right? Really make those high impact heroes. He's so good at.
Again, the Linkser, there are multiple Tracer players on this team. There are technically 4 Tracer players on the Houston Outlaws. We count Mendo, who was obviously a Tracer aficionado himself. And now we're going to see Linkser on that pick. So different approach for Linkser. This time, instead of sitting back from afar like the Widow, he plays much more that Genji style on the Tracer, getting up close and personal, and see if he can stand up to the monster that is Sue.
We also get to see Kareev play some Pharah, so we've seen this a little bit. You know, from our knowledge, you know, the DPS heroes we knew Kareev was comfortable with were mostly hit scan, but we've seen him play some Genji, we've seen him play some Pharah. It's a nice direct hit from Jake, not able to follow it up right away, but it's going to force Unko out of the sky here, so gave Jake an opportunity to maybe make a hit on a Kareev, not able to connect.
Kareev had no interest in shooting back at Jake, man. You could actually see he was shooting vertically down, and this is how that manifests. At the time, we saw the Houston Outlaws had 6 players with about half HP. Kareev getting a lot of involvement in that damage there, and now Jake's going to be on his own. Perhaps an over-focus on towards that enemy Pharah instead of just trying to bombard the ground?
Yeah, it's interesting. Kareev probably would have looked at him if he hit him with a rocket, right? But if he's not connecting anything,
you gotta earn his respect.
Just kind of dodge it and then just get all that free damage down on the ground. Jake doesn't want to try that Pharah again. He'll go over to 76. But you lose Linkser right away in a battle as soon, so you have to back on out. As the Valiants will earn themselves some more percentage on the point.
Soon blew Linkser up very quickly. The Outlaws, in fact, most of them hadn't even gotten to the point yet before Linkser was removed from the situation. It's rough. Soon spots Linkser yet again, thinks about going in. Maybe another big one-clip attempt. That's the pulse bomb dropped in there. It looks like it was eaten. Now the Transcendence comes in. Moon will be very glad about that because he was cut down to about 30% HP. Jake, oh, good awareness from Raucus. Knows he needs to bring it back a little bit with that Transcendence and keep Jake alive, but that's expired now. That's when the rest of the Valiant dive on in. Envy gets brought back by Unco because there's no pressure on the backline of the Valiant right now, and that's good for Soon.
Yeah, Muma's actually able to get Envy before he can get back into his mech, so he jumps from the other side of the bridge through the window and takes out Envy. Really heads up play there from Muma as he's going to pop Primal Rage, but it's going to be Soon connecting with a pulse bomb on a Raucus as it's going to be 5 members from the Valiant on the point still.
I mean, this man has been seeking so many of those big pulse bombs throughout the course of this match. That one was huge. Removing Raucus from the situation not only takes away the healing that the Orb of Harmony provides, but also the incredible damage that Raucus can give on that Zenyatta roll. Nasty stuff.
The Valiant with a stronghold here is the Outlaws do have 11%, but the point goes. The Valiant now is they do have sound barrier.
What, 1 more 5 say Outlaws?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Kareev will have rocket barrage. We don't see like these huge rocket barrage plays, but
D.Va shuts them down.
Yeah, maybe Kareev can just kind of get sneaky, get 1 or 2.
Oh, look at that. It's a D.Va. Oh, you did no damage. What a shocker. Jake there takes down Kareev, and Unco's been removed by the micro rockets, and Jake has got some space to make very good use of this tactical visor. Soon had nowhere to really hide. And yes, Jake, wave goodbye to them, even though you're about 80% behind. This is when the Outlaws need to start building back up a little bit more. Verbo's got a sound barrier, and Unco's close to that Valkyrie.
It's like the use of rocket barrage almost hurt the Valiant more than anything.
Well, it did. It was pretty much press Q to respawn for Kareev.
Right.
Sometimes that's the case.
He's dead. It forces some of the other members of the Valiant to come on forward, and they all get taken out. It'll be the Valiant using a sound barrier. Really nice from Verbo. Connects with everybody.
Yeah. Pulse bomb there to Linkser to no avail there. Either didn't stick or was eaten up. Envy there gets himself back in the suit. So Linkser wasn't able to remove the mini D.Va before she was able to climb back into her mech. Fate's looking worse for Wear off to the side. He's getting a lot of scrutiny, but Verbo's trying to keep him up. He runs straight headlong into Linkser, who removes him with a headshot there. Double pulse pistols really finding their mark. And this should be the Outlaws to weather yet another storm, and this time they do it, despite Verbo and Unco coming in with those ultimates.
I don't know if it's completely over just yet, as Linkser and the tanks are on the point here for the Outlaws. You're going to have both supports, Fate and Soon here, but it's a big kill there from Raucus on the Soon. Get that big damage dealer out of the way. He should be able to clean up the rest of these kills. You see the Outlaws too.
That was definitely over then. I mean, they had sort of 3 players to try and pressure, but again, there's no point stalling if you're not in control of the point. All you do is sort of stagger yourself further and give the Outlaws more percentage. Fate's brought back in the interest, of course, in expediency.
But would you switch off the Pharah here? I feel like it's kind of difficult to get a ton of value out of it, right? Because you're just getting, hits from so far away. You're giving support ultimate charge to the side of the Outlaws.
I mean, you need to focus Coolmat down if you want to get good value out of the Pharaoh at close range, otherwise you're just going to get pretty much bopped. Defense mages will shut you down, and Raucus has done just that. Kareev removed from the fight already, and Jake is found soon. A little bit of a flick to the left side, sees the Wily Tracer trying to peek out, and that's going to be the round. The Houston Outlaws bring it back. Despite the Valiant being at 99%, they let it slip.
It's something we used to see with Oasis in the pool, where both teams would probably start out with Pharah and then they would switch off of it, just because it's kind of difficult to take the point back with Pharah, because you're just trying to push in as a team, right? If she's not getting that diva down and you're not really focusing that diva and getting her out of the equation, a lot of her damage either gets sucked up or healed from range, especially, right? Because Kareev is firing rockets from the other side of the bridge. So imagine just how long it takes to get everybody else over there on those kills.
It's the same as Nepal Village. Yeah. And even this map here, Night Market, is that if you're a Pharaoh and you want to fight against people on the point, you pretty much have to be there.
Go to the point.
Defeats the purpose of you having that mobility and that verticality. You put yourself in arm's reach in order to impact the fights. So if you let the enemy get to the point, then you essentially become a lot more useless.
Yeah, it's difficult to play after that. As you'll see Kareev play 76 here, so a little bit of a change. It'll be Sunu, D-Max, Coolmat here to start as, man, Sunu, I feel like every fight he has just been a terror to deal with.
Boink living dangerously there, more than happy to front up to Sunu and try and take him on. Boink, a little bit of a boot back there as Fate tried to get very close to him. Sunu's removed Jake already from the fight, so Boink, I don't think that was intentional. Oh, Verbo! Oh, okay. Getting shivers from that one. It was strange. It looked as if Boink was jumping, but he jumped with so much sideward momentum that I couldn't realize how he managed to do that. I guess that makes sense. So the thing is, right, if Verbo boops someone and then they jump off the edge, it can still count as he actually booped. So don't trust kill feed too much in that case, but we'll give the man the benefit of the doubt.
Ooh, Jake falls as they're trying to come out of the doorway, so that's going to push the Outlaws back yet again, which we've seen a lot of teams struggle when the team that controls the point can get right up to those chokes and just put a lot of pressure. Right, because Fate can play in this area. He can either go in if he has Primal Rage, right, put down a ton of damage. He can stay there and poke a little bit. It'll be a wall spawn that goes there from soon on the wall. And then if Fate gets low, he can jump back to the supports and they can just send Envy on in to do the same thing.
Rotate their tanks, and DPS is in tandem here as well to keep that damage flowing. The Valiant getting a little bit skittish in that fight. You see, they weren't getting much success in terms of trying to get an early pick, so they rotate back to the point and then sort of wait for the Outlaws to approach them. They're still kind of shifting back and forth. You see, they've pulled themselves off the point entirely. The Transcendence, though, is the go signal. It's literally and figuratively the green light here for Los Angeles Valiant. Kareev unloads. Time for the tactical visor, but he's being forced out. Soundberry is hastily thrown into the mix here to try and keep the Valiant nice and healthy on the point, and it's just as well that it was. Otherwise, Kareev would be mincemeat right now, but now he's sleeping with the fishes straight over the end. Moomer getting himself too with that Primal Rage. Verbo was the first victim, and Sue's trying to salvage the situation, but even a salty Seagull can't see himself getting out of this one. He'll have to back up. And Coolmat, a couple micro rockets thrown at Envy for good measure to remove him. Finally, the Valiant, about 80%, and you can see Fate trying to stall.
Yeah, and it's going to be Verbo and Kareev coming back as well. They will fall back, so they're going to give the point to the Outlaws, but they did get 84% in terms of progress. A ton of ultimates used in that fight. Both support ults for both teams, attack visor from the Houston Outlaws and the Valiant as well earlier in the fight. Self-destruct towards the end for Coolmat. The Outlaws invested so heavy into this match. I mean, just look at how far behind they are in terms of ultimate. I mean, Coolmat, barely any progress or another self-destruct. Links are pretty much to a pulse spawn. That's about it, but it's going to be Unko.
That's the early pick.
The first pick. Yep.
That's all you're looking for in a fight where you're pretty even on ultimate economy. A pick can really change things, and look at that. Moomer's been removed. There's far less healing, 50% less existing on the Outlaw side. I think that they're just going to get rolled over. It's as simple as that. Lose one key player like Raucus, and you're going to have a bad time. The Outlaws will have a chance to try and contest to keep themselves in a position to take things away from here. But I don't think they'll be getting a 2-0 at this stage. The Valiant are looking much sharper.
I mean, Fate will have a Primal Rage to use here, and you'll have Transcendence as well, as Muma's going to get a touch on the point. Keeping the Outlaws in it. It'll tick up to 99%, so we're in OT, but that's going to be a Primal Rage. Takes out Jake Unko with 2 more kills, man. To start off these fights, been so good on that Zenyatta.
Ka-chow now, Muma!
That'll put it away.
Terse faces on the Valiant. Unko, by the way, just doming one after another in that last fight. It's so important, not only when your Zenyatta player picks their Zenyatta off early, he just goes and kills 2 more people. Of course, it's just, you know, it ain't no thing to this man.
It's like what we saw from Sleepy in the Shock Fuel match.
Okay, that was
right?
ungodly.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was filthy.
Sleepy was sick in that match. But just those first picks on Zenyatta from range, you know, with the discords and then just his regular primary fire,
That's like,
he can just do so much damage.
That's the only. That's how we try and deconstruct fights where teams have like no ultimates or like one ultimate each, and neither of them are overly impactful. It's like there's no support ults, so it is all about that first pick, even more so than before.
And I mean, the Valiant they were ahead in terms of ultimates at that moment as well.
Pulse
so just getting that first kill is huge. So it'll be triple tank that comes out from both teams, and it's going to be the jump that comes in here as well.
That's filthy. Look at that energy charge for Karib here. Tough for Moomin to get up close. Outputting a heck of a lot of damage. The shields have been very well used by Karib, but he's taken a fair bit himself. He'll have a chance to use his own personal shield in a moment if he falls under scrutiny once more. Links are on the Zarya here for the Houston Outlaws. So both DPS players of both these teams showing a little bit of that flex versatility as we go into a tank-heavy matchup.
Yeah, this is what you'll see Moira come into play as Jake will use a Riptire as
Envy
takes out Jake.
Great micro rockets. Oh, Moomin might be in trouble. Fate finds him. One swing of the hammer.
So you see Moira come out here in these triple tank comps because obviously the healing she can provide is, you know, one of the best defense in the game. So there is Diva on both.
Oh, there's
definitely Diva.
That's the second time I've done that.
It's the Overwatch League. Diva's always in. It's, you know, she's kind of taking the mantle at first in terms of pick rate. But
Kid throws sometimes when they take a hog instead of Diva. That, but I mean, she's still got to be careful. The Bionic Orbs can still get eaten up. Okay. But that's an interesting grab.
That's still a little bit of a preemptive grab there from Karib. So I guess the Outlaws catch a little bit of a break, not having to worry about that.
Riptire coming in from the outside now. 6 seconds pursuit, so he has a little bit of time to select his target. Oh, there it is though. No Jacob Boyk either. Can't get that one wrong. Good charge. That's the second time Fate's pinned Moomer in the last few seconds. Moomer tries to respond, but Jake gives him a bit of a tap. Looked more like a home run to the outfield there. This Moomer tried to charge across and make something happen. The tank play's been sublime so far for the Valiant. Envy, Kariban, of course Fate. Really getting it done, and those Earth Shatters have been saved up. Lynx's Graviton Surge needs to be the difference maker here.
And the Valiant back out of that choke because they know Lynxer has grab, and they don't want to all stack up right in front. Now maybe if a grab comes in, then the push starts to come, you'll see Fate use that Earth Shatter to try and knock them down as they try and come into the grab.
Earth Shatter comes in preemptively. Oh, it's disgusting! There it is, Envy gets himself a triple with that self-destruct, and Lynxer was removed from the fight. The Graviton ultimately comes up for nothing. There was no one left for the Outlaws to capitalize on the fact that the Valiant was suspended in mid-air.
Yeah, as soon as they use the grab, Fate pretty much almost like at the same exact time use Earth Shatter, knocks down 3 players, I believe.
Just as you said he would.
Man, now Karib, you're gonna see the Riptire come out from Jake here, 90%. Needs to get something with it because Karib is going to have another grab. You imagine it's a better one than the first time. Envy takes out Jake's Riptire, that's sick.
That's another Riptire that Envy's taking responsibility for himself in this round, and Moomer's down again. He's getting no luck, and Reinhardt so far constantly being slapped around, and soon Riptire in. Unclear to see if it did anything. No, it wasn't even a D-suit off the back of that one. Cool Matt down to half HP, gets a shield from Lynxer, tries to get some charge for the Zarya, and it's worked. Fate gets lasered down in the middle of the fight, and Envy's kind of caught off to the side. He realizes that a little bit too late. His positioning wasn't ideal to assist with that defense matrix. His team was too far away.
And it's been an odd round from the standpoint that we've seen.
It's been an odd series.
Well, we've seen 3 Graviton Surge up until this point. Usually a grab is like an easy fight win. And every team fight that they've used the grab, the teams have not won. As now Lynx are getting close to his grab.
It's like press Q to lose team fight. Press Q to respawn for Karib's barrage of Farah. Okay, topsy-turvy world, but Lynxer now, as charged as he is, he's going to be able to get Graviton fairly soon. In fact, he should have it right now. He's going to let it go immediately. Where is the Valiant? No one's inside the Graviton. It's just a pretty thing to look at. It's like a black hole you're looking at through a telescope. Doesn't add any value to the battle. But now Jake goes down. Verbo removed by the Riptire. Lynxer at least trying to make amends, and he does remove Envy from the picture. The Outlaws have control. What is this map?
They get 4 grabs now. As actually, it's actually insane that there have been 4 Graviton Surges and no kills off of a grab from either team. It's that time though, they used the grab. They were trying to actually time that to perfectly use the grab with the Riptire, and the thing that happened was the Valiant just backed out when they heard the Riptire.
Big disengage.
So you didn't get anybody.
I guess he dropped the grab short. It happens. Unlucky, but it does. Soon, trying to dodge around here. Doesn't manage to avoid anything. Jake catches that Riptire out pretty comfortably. But the Valiant took the point back. The Outlaws had to disengage and give up ground. And now they might be in a bad position. Kareem gets Linksa. Cormat with a self-destruct. This one has to be the Helm over there looking for. Fate lays the hammer down. Cormat was knocked down, but he's still able to get back in his mech. Verbo now on the ground. That's a huge earth shatter from Muma. Will it turn the tides? No. Unko sitting in the back line with the coalescence here. Getting himself a little bit of energy beam action going on. And Muma is down. That's Fate taking down Boink. 2 for the Reinhardt in this fight. And Jake's desperately trying to get in, but he's getting slapped around. Displaced by the swing of the rocket hammer from Fate, and he can't keep his feet on the ground. Unko gets caught in a trap though, and that allows Coolmat to remove the Moira. You can't fade away from that one. Coolmat though needs to get back, trying to protect Raucus there as he steps forward. It's Linksa down. The rest of the Outlaws are coming in droves though. They have the players here, but Kareem, Graviton Surge, pins 2, 3 up against the middle. Porval, where's the follow-up? And he's trying to get some damage in and add it to the mix. Muma getting chucked down. Raucus desperately trying to keep him up, Matt. This is an insane fight. Verbo comes in with a boot to remove Muma.
Yeah, as soon as come back up the spawn is Sombra just trying to get back as fast as possible.
Woo!
It will be the Valiant
Dude, what is this game right now? This is sick.
who take Lijiang Tower. They'll go up 2-0 in the series. Man, a lot of the weird Graviton surges during that one, but...
Oh, fam, I'm sat here sounding like a frat boy all of a sudden. But what an intense round.
Soon has a very good map. 32 limbs, 20 final blows, only 8 deaths. On the side of the Houston Outlaws, it was Coolmat. 24 limbs, 12 final blows, led the team.
Oh, Matt, what a match this has been so far. The Valiant are up, though, 2-0 right now. There needs to be a response after the break from the Outlaws to make this one a close affair.
I'm ready. Okay, slow. Yeah. Let's go. I'm sure they're all right. I'm dead. Junkrat right. Nice. I'm gonna go taxi.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
The Valiant look like they've recovered from their loss against the Gladiators and hold a dominating 2-0 lead over the Houston Outlaws at the half. Welcome back, everyone. Golden Boy here at the desk as we break down games 1 and 2 alongside reinforcing Crumbs. And I mean, gentlemen, what a game we've had so far.
Yeah, it really has been. I mean, the fights have been so chaotic that, you know, if I had $1 for every time Uber said a word I didn't understand, I'd have just enough to get him a thesaurus for the second half.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? I could just see Uber like
Crumbs joke.
You just see Uber cycling.
Swedish media didn't even understand it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You know what a thesaurus is? It gives you different words or
is
different.
Is this some anime stuff? I don't know the anime stuff.
Oh my God!
It's nothing to do with that. What is this?
Let's talk Overwatch, Golden Boy.
All right, fine. We're gonna have to at this point. We got to recover. All right. So Soon has been a superstar in this game thus far. I mean, the stats that he is putting up, ridiculous stuff, Crumbs. I mean, you had one in particular you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so take a look at this one. You got the final blows, 13-2. That's already, if that doesn't ring alarms for you, then take another look at the eliminations and then the deaths. The fact that they played the same amount, died the same, but he did basically 6 times as many final blows and even more damage. Just shows you how much stronger the Tracer is on the Valiant side, and that translated beyond Clockwork, because when they put in Jake, he wasn't playing the Tracer, it was Linkser, and he did not do much better than this.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion going on in the Houston Outlaws squad, of course, because who is going to play Tracer in this team? You got Jake, you got Linkser, you got Clockwork, all playing, you know? Who is going to get it? Is it Mendo gonna come out? I would see some Mendo Kusai, man. No, but Soon has been a superstar, of course. He's just been popping off on this Tracer. And I said in the pregame, Soon needed to pop off and have a good game, and he has so far, and it really shows. I mean, the Los Angeles Valiant are up for 2-0, and it's for good reason.
I mean, Soon has just been all over the place. Every time you see this guy, he's just tossing bombs on top of people's faces, leaving it casually, and then zipping on out of there, just wheeling and dealing.
It's true, but we always talk about the Tracer versus Tracer matchup. Why does Tracer matter so damn much? Well, Tracer is kind of like an initiator almost. She pokes around so much that when she whittles somebody down, it's a cue for you to just dive on through. It's a cue to engage. She helps in corralling people into certain directions by just pressuring away, and she builds up ultimate really fast, so it's a game-winning move that can just get individual picks. This is why you have to have a Tracer player on pretty much almost always, but you can try answers. They tried the Soldier, they tried the Pharah, and it worked in the map, but it's not going to fix the issue.
Yeah, but then also, you know, you got to have someone to kind of assist you in that one in the you know, slaying department, and that in this instance is Kareev. Kareev, we talked about him at the beginning of the game. We said we want to see this guy continue to perform at the level that, you know, this obviously his Valiant team believes that he can perform, and it is very clear that he is bringing.
I mean,
it today.
I questioned the guy. I said, does he have the star power to actually play this DPS role? And he actually turned up today. Now, I think that Houston Outlaws aren't their typical self. I think that Linkser has been pretty quiet. You know, Linkser is usually the guy popping off on the Widowmaker or on the Genji, of course, but he hasn't really today. And that just gives Kareev more time on the Soldier or whatever he wants to play to actually do his plays, of course, and do his thing. So I think that from the fact that Houston Outlaws hasn't really popped off this game and Linkser hasn't really turned up yet, I think that Kareev has actually looked a lot better.
Well, they've put Linkser to try the Tracer matchup against Soon, and it went really bad. He had 7 deaths.
Yeah, but even on the Widowmaker.
Oh, but let me just show you. This stat is the important part about this.
Okay.
Point, Johnny. Wait for it.
Tell me the
7 deaths from Linkser. On Tracer, 5 of them were against Soon. Soon died 0 times. Exactly. My goodness. No deaths from Linkser onto Soon. That really highlights how much of a struggle this is in this matchup, how much it's dictating the pace of the game.
Yeah, but then also, and you know, Linkser and Jake, while they haven't had, you know, the showing that I'm sure that they would have liked to have had, they have been contributing, you know, as much as they possibly can. We did see some moments where we were starting to get some holds here from Houston Outlaws, especially on Lijiang Tower. But ultimately,
I mean, this is Volskaya, right? And I think that Linkser really needed to turn up a bit more on Volskaya. He played a Widowmaker, and he didn't really get all the shots necessary to capture it. And here we swap roles. And I mean, how much can you ask of Linkser? Is he supposed to swap role every game? Last week, he wasn't playing Tracer at all. This week, he has to step up to the Tracer role and perform with the top Tracers in the world. I mean, I think there's a lot of pressure on Linkser's shoulders. And maybe you need some more consistency with your team composition. Maybe just let Linkser play on that flex DPS role. Stick to the Widowmaker, the Soldier, and the Genji, of course. And then you can just rotate your Tracer players without just putting the responsibility onto
Yeah,
Leaks.
but how are you going to deal with Tracer? Because before, I think it was the meta that allowed you. You had the Junkrat without the nerf mines that could one-shot a Tracer with the Mercy buff, and now you don't have that anymore because the distance means that the damage boost is not going to be enough to one-shot a Tracer at any distance, so it becomes a lot harder. Yeah, you can play the McCree, but we have seen McCrees get outplayed by Tracers, and it's very possible.
Well, we have seen McCree's outplayed Tracers.
It's a skill match.
It's just clear that Tracer is just playing such a role.
Yeah.
I mean, Tracer has always been a pivotal hero throughout the entirety of Overwatch esports, in my opinion. But most importantly in this stage, you have Tracers just front and center more than they've ever been before. And one player who has been front and center this entire matchup is Soon. I mean, this guy is a beast, and we actually had a chance to sit down with Soon from the LA Valiant to talk about his unique audio settings, maybe getting some Soon chants in there. But this is going to be our latest edition of Game Set, sponsored by Omen by HP.
Zone with that Diva. Ooh, wow, Neptuno barely got back to spawn, but there's a stick, and there's a kill on the Fraggy. Hotba D-Mech as well. Soon coming up clutch.
Bonjour, moi c'est Tarek Terence, on me connaît sous le pseudo Soon, je suis DPS chez LA Valiant. On commence par les vidéos, je mets le plus haut hertz possible de l'écran. Tu as 120 en 144 ou plus, bah, tu mets. Je vais mettre 1920 par 1080 en 240 Hz. Je mets toujours mon échelle de rendu à 50 pour gagner un maximum d'FPS. Tu perds des pixels, mais tu gagnes beaucoup en fluidité. C'est très important pour suivre des cibles avec son viseur.
Neptuno just glided smoothly into the waiting pulse pistols of Soon.
Le champ de vision, je le mets toujours au maximum. On ne peut pas avoir toutes les infos sur les côtés. Le reduce buffering, je le mets toujours en on. Ça fait gagner un peu de fluidité. Ensuite, je vais dans le son. Le volume de musique, je le mets toujours à 0. Les musiques vont cacher les bruits de pas, des bruits d'ultimate. Les effets de son sonore, je le mets toujours à fond parce que c'est tous les tirs et les bruits de pas. C'est très important. Les voix in-game, c'est très important de le mettre à fond aussi. Ça, c'est toutes les voix des personnages. Sans oublier, bien sûr, quand vous jouez en compétitif, de bien mettre le volume du voice chat à fond et le volume de votre micro aussi.
And I don't think any of us would have predicted a 4-0 for the Valiant.
Mes 3 personnages préférés, c'est Tracer, Widowmaker et McCree. Alors je suis en 800 DPI et je suis à 8 de sensi, ce qui correspond à une sensi ni trop basse ni trop élevée pour moi. Il y a une chose que je change dans les réglages des zéros, c'est les visées. Par exemple, Widowmaker, quand tu zoomes, j'ai augmenté à 50. Si je le laisse par défaut et qu'il y a une Tracer qui est vraiment au corps à corps avec moi, j'arriverai jamais à la tuer avec ma sensi. J'espère que mes conseils vous auront plu et bonne chance pour le ladder.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
let's go ahead and welcome to the stage the Houston Outlaws. Let's welcome to the stage the Los Angeles Valiant.
People saying he's maybe not a clutch play, but he's consistent. Lixa gets vaporized by Sunya. Now the auxiliaries have to come through for the Outlaws. The backline players need to step forward and deliver, and they cannot. Map 1, LA Valiant. Grootzy, but Verba's trying to keep him up. He runs straight headlong into Lixa, who removes him with a headshot. Kareem removed from the fight already, and Jake is found soon. A little bit of a flick to the left side. Sees the Wily Tracer trying to peek out. And that's going to be the round. The Houston Outlaws bring it back.
Start off these fights, been so good on that Zenyatta.
Ciao now, Muma!
That'll put it away. Come into the grab.
Shadow comes in preemptively. Oh, it's disgusting! There it is, Envy gets himself a triple with that self-destruct fight. Verbo comes in with a boot to remove Muma.
Yeah, as soon as come back up the spawn is Sombra just trying to get back as fast as possible.
Woo!
It will be the Valiant.
Dude, what is this game? This is sick!
Who take the Lijiang Tower. They'll go up 2-0 in the series.
Just a couple of the epic moments we've already seen so far in this match. We're only, Matt, halfway through this series between the Valiant and the Outlaws.
Yeah, it's been a really wild series up until this point. It's the Valiant who have a 2-0 lead. Obviously, just one more map they need to take the series. We do play all 4 maps, though, so to obviously map, win percentage and whatnot, map differential huge towards the later half of the year. There'll be no subs for either team, so Jake will still be in for the Houston Outlaws. And, for the Valiant, it's not too surprising we don't see any subs anymore, to be honest. I mean, it seems like they've stuck with this 6-man lineup throughout all of Stage 2.
Yeah, they told us, early on, and said this is the plan for the time being, is that we're going to have this set up. The Kareev on the DPS, look. And so far, to be honest, been up and down. Today, though, it's been good. This is a must-win map for the Houston Outlaws. They are 0-2 down in this series. And any more, of course, will make it impossible for them to fight back. This is where they need to wake up.
Yes, this could be a good map for a player like Kareev, who we've seen him play Genji at a decently high level. Widowmaker 76. All those heroes excel here on Hollywood. Wonder what the Houston Outlaws decide to do. Maybe they run like a Genji Tracer with Linkser playing Genji and Jake playing Tracer. Maybe they run one of them on the 76. It looks like, though, they will be on defense here to kick things off. No, they'll be on offense, sorry. It'll be the Valiant on defense. They'll have Kareev most likely play 76, set up on that high ground.
So some teams we've seen coming with a Junkrat here on defense, Hollywood. It's not really an approach the Valiant have ever really loved to go for it. In fact, even in the past, they kind of used agilities on that Junkrat role. They didn't love it, it wasn't the thing they did. And especially now, he's less played. So, Envy on the Genji, I have doubts about that. He's still sitting over in spawn. Yeah, I can see you. I got you, Envy. Nice try, fam. I see you.
Yep.
He'll switch out. So it's going to be Kareev on the 76 here. So again, the Tracer 76 composition on this map is fairly safe. It's fairly robust. A couple of people, Matt, have sort of said in the past that, this is just because teams don't really know how to play this meta and they haven't sort of got it all nailed down. But it seems like the most, standard way to approach.
Yeah, we do see Moira sometimes on the defensive end here, even on offense, right? She's pretty effective going through the chokes. Looks like Valiant, they'll have the comp we've been talking about a lot. It'll be Tracer and 76. It'll be
Outlaws.
Yeah, and the Outlaws, I mean, they're going to be running pretty like a slow composition here, right? I mean, Muma's going to be playing Orisa. You have Jake playing Junkrat, and Linkser playing Widowmaker. So you're going to have that shield if you want. It's going to be Linkser opening things up, though, with a pick right on a Verbo. The Valiant probably didn't expect that.
Jake straight over towards the cafe here. So he notices that the Valiant have sort of backed up a little bit. Oh, hey, Jake, it's 4 a.m. and Soon's in your house with a Tracer. What are you going to do now? Nice chase down there for Soon, able to get him out of the enemy lines. And Kareev comes in. Both DPSs are missing for the Outlaws. It started so well, Matt, but now it's fallen apart.
Yeah, Kareev that came all the way around on the flank. Almost by that initial choke, he was able to pick up 2 kills. And it just really made the Houston Outlaws split a little bit, right? Where they don't know, do you want to go back, deal with Kareev? If you do that, you turn your back to Soon and Envy and Unko. So it has allowed the Valiant to hold on.
Turning your back on Soon is like turning your back on an ocean. Or the ocean, for that matter. Dangerous mistake. There's a pulse bomb there for Soon. Oh, Muma would have been the perfect target, but Jake sends him a little package from up on high, and it just bounces through the doorway harmlessly to claim Soon. Despite this, Coolmat's not making much progress on that left side, but on the right, it's Boomer is actually just sat on the point. Now Jake's joining him. Coolmat's also there. So the Houston Outlaws actually might be able to get a tick away from this one if the Valiant aren't careful. Kareev goes for a very fine angle to get this tactical visor, and in doing so, they have given a tick away. Nice work from Unco, though. The Zenyatta took down the Riptire in midair.
Yeah, a lot of people, though, were looking up at that Riptire. You saw some shots from Kareev soon as well. As the Riptire falls, they don't get anything with it. Muma's still alive here as Arista on the point, just standing there, just creating space.
Oh, that was late.
It's going to be Raucus using that Transcendence to actually have Boink go in and res Muma, so they really feel like they can take this fight.
Oh, the Transcendence, I don't know how much value they got out of that one. Lynx has switched over towards the McCree here. Fancy staying safe and secure behind Muma's barriers and getting damage across with a Peacemaker. Consistent mid to long range hits from the McCree will really make it hard for the Valiant to stick around in this fight. Coolmat's found Fate. Unco falls in the periphery. Soon, a pulse bomb committed to the supercharger. There is an interesting decision, and because not enough casualties have been suffered on the side of the Outlaws, it's really just Kareev who's left to run onto the point to try and stall it up, to fall, at least with some honor.
Yeah, the Transcendence used by Raucus allows Boink to go in and get that res on the Muma. Muma then drops that supercharger. They're able to follow that up with a few kills, but it is very risky, like you were saying.
Do you think Raucus goes for that Transcendence? You know, I thought it obviously trying to keep Muma up and alive there. Do you think that?
I think that was the initial plan, and then after that, because Boink is basically playing on that corner, and he's probably just waiting for everybody else to come out. Yeah. But as soon as that kind of goes wrong, it's like, well, let's use the Transcendence to get a res off.
Worked really well, I have to say. Soon getting picked off though. Jake's so good at doing that, opening up fights, big opportunities to make plays on that Junkrat by, in the least subtle manner possible, blowing them to smithereens with the mine or something similar. So the Valiant get a little bit aggressive here on the defense. Lynx are realizing the time to turn, and Fate lands right on top of him there, beating his chest with all the pride of the king of the jungle, and it pays off. Now Coolmat trying to sneak away. He'll lose his mech here and get staggered. That's annoying. Kill me, he says. No, the Valiant don't want any of that.
He's trying to get some damage here with the Bunny Blast. You see Boink healing him up.
It's one of the two, right? It's either get killed somehow or get ult charged. It's even worse if they kill Coolmat when he's got like 99%. That's really annoying.
And I believe he has self-destruct as well. Probably why he doesn't want to go back to the spawn and just switch off. Kareev switches off over to Widowmaker. He's actually got his infrasight up, so they know exactly where Coolmat is. So Coolmat not even able to poke and get any more damage.
Oh, this is so awkward. I mean, like as time goes on, he'll get it back anyway. He still gets ultimate percentage per second more than he would normally. Oh, Envy though, he goes down. He obviously wasn't going to be able to get back into his mech anytime soon. And now Lynx, look at him. He feels much more confident now that there's no enemy Diva afoot. It's really only Fate he has to worry about. And Fate is not going to commit to a dive without the Diva there. So Lynx now is unlocked. He's unleashed. For the next couple of seconds, he can be this aggressive playmaker.
No one player's back here. He's not able to connect with that headshot onto Soon. As Soon backs out. Stays alive for the time being, but it's going to be Kareev who takes out Boink. Oh! An exchange there as Lynxer goes high. This guy takes Kareev out, but Unco follows that up with a kill, so it's going to be a two-player advantage for the Valiant. Unco with 3 here in this fight. As this will force the Outlaws back as Coolmat potentially gets staggered again. No, gets out with his life this time. Well, maybe not. It looks like Soon trying to hunt him
down.
Not
again. Coolmat's thinking to himself, mini Diva time. Back to Bunny Blaster Central. I mean, so that was actually, despite Lynx getting that big shot on Kareev, it was still a net positive for the Valiant because just before Kareev got shot, I believe he picked off Boink. Then he goes down, then Unco comes in. What a fight for Unco. I mean, so far, Unco's got 3 final blows. They all came in that fight, which is a big deal. I mean, he's only now 1 behind Sue, 1 behind Kareev. Pulse bomb time. Boink, he's done for. Now Sue can just back away. He knows Raucus is low, but it's a bit tempting for him. He recalls back, theoretically closer to the Zenyatta he was eyeing off, but doesn't go for it. Again, would have definitely been a big mistake to have died there.
Lynxer's going to use his infrasight here to give the Houston Outlaws information where everybody in the Valiant's playing, decide where they're going to push. As Jake has moved over to Genji, so trying to pressure out Kareev on that high ground. Really worried about the damage he's been doing on Widowmaker.
Coolmat doing what he does best. He was on his own there, playing the flank. He's always that sort of pivot player. I talk about this all the time. I love how the Outlaws use him. But so far, they've not made a lot of progress here. Kareev picking off Jake's definitely not going to help things out at all. Transcendence over the fight, so makes it very, very, very tricky there. Really for the Valiant to get any extra damage, but it doesn't matter because they have that man advantage here. Now, the Outlaws are trying to come back in, but Kareev's found links and nothing's going right for Houston right now. There's the pulse bomb. Coolmat was already halfway through getting desuited, so he gets blown up as soon as he exits the mech.
This has not been pretty for the Outlaws as Muma's going to use his Primal Rage, trying to stay up. Jacob on that high ground, coming down. Ash Tracer here, trying to get towards the Void. He's not going to be able to make it as well as things have fallen apart for the Outlaws. They unlock the payload. They get it about halfway down through the streets, and we didn't get a ton of eyes on him during that second half of the game. But once Kareev switches over to Widowmaker, I really loved his positioning. A lot of Widowmakers, they set up top on that high ground, or maybe they go on top of the jail. He was playing like in the backside of the jail, like through those little chokes. So he was, every time Linkster went to the high ground, he had to look so many different ways, right? You're not just focusing on the high ground, and also when they have to dive him, they have to go so deep, all the way behind that jail. It's so easy to pick up those kills. And you LOS those players, they're not in the line of sight of the healers, right? Where they have to dive all the way in the back there on Kareev. So it makes it very difficult for the Outlaws to play against.
Linkster. He's getting outplayed by Kareev right now. Statistically, stylistically. It's not been working for him. He has 3 final blows, 5 eliminations. So, I mean, he's done fine in terms, relative to his team, he's done fine. Kareev has been wrecking people. He's got 6 big eliminations here, a huge amount of damage. The Widowmaker has been absolutely on point, which yesterday it really wasn't against the Gladiators. I didn't feel like Kareev was an impact player in that game, and that's why today you heard them say on the desk, it's like, is Kareev that clutch player? Is he the kind of individual that can take a map over himself? Because their argument was that Kareev's very consistent. But if you can combine that consistency with that ability to take over games, then you have a superstar.
I just don't know if we've seen enough of him in the DPS role to just kind of make those assumptions.
With Bayern or the desks?
No, just in general. Just in general of like whether he is that clutch player, right? I mean, well, we've seen against the Gladiators. Really, I guess you kind of look at that match.
Well, it was just a rough
really
one.
Stands out.
Yeah.
I think that was a rough one for everybody, right? I mean,
Soon got romped.
Yeah, I mean, they just got in a dumpster that match. You saw Asher play very good in that match. Somebody who hasn't really been playing the best for the Gladiators. He came alive, so I think there was a lot of circumstances for that match where you saw the Valiant just play poor as a whole. I feel like Overwatch is such obviously a team game that sometimes the stats do get skewed by how your team plays. As Raucus will play Ana here and Boink will play Zen. So it's a little bit of change up from the Outlaw supports, and then in terms of tanks, you're going to have Muma play Roadhog, so you're not going to have necessarily a main tank.
Okay. Soon there, trading blows with a couple of individuals on the side of the Outlaws. The Valiant really covet that high ground position. They want to be on this ledge that Soon's standing on right now. It's going to give them the perfect point to start from. Raucus taken down by the rocket, and now, yep, it's time to start the fight. Envy sees an opportunity to go for Boink, and he's already removed. Both supports are down for the Houston Outlaws in midair. Linkster gets cut down. Tracer moves so fast, but that's a big old blue shell to take him out the race.
Well, it's difficult for the Outlaws to deal with this far because you don't have a 76 or a Widowmaker. Don't have a Zenyatta. Well, you did, but now, I mean, Boink has to go over to Lucio. He's going to make some changes, but even still, I mean, you're just going to have what? Boink and Raucus in terms of players who can actually do substantial damage to a far up in the sky.
And look at Creep. Notice his pattern here of peeking that. So he never fully exposes himself to sight lines that someone like Raucus or Linkster would have access to. I mean, he killed Raucus earlier on doing the same thing, just little peaks, little peaks, little peaks. Breaking LOS. What a smart individual.
And it's super annoying to play against. I mean, if you've played
Johnny
against
did that to me
a great
in,
far
but
yeah, I mean, it just kind of peeking over those walls, it's so difficult because you just get forced out of your position, right, by just the rocket spam, and then you can't even get any damage down onto the far. Like, look at this position that Kareev's playing.
Anything.
It's so annoying.
Linkster close to an infraside. There it is, okay. He's getting very few opportunities to do damage, but he's making the most of them there. You can see he's done just that again soon. Kareev barrage from long range. I mean, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of fanfare, Matt, but not a lot of actual damage done. You see the Nanobush just give it over to Coolmac here, so he's looking super durable. I mean, that mecha armor now definitely being hard and tempered. And able to withstand a lot of damage. Jake, what's he found? Unco is removed.
Yeah, and you see, I thought Kareev probably, with that rocket barrage, probably getting off the far there. Very odd rocket barrages. They tried to protect him with defense matrix and do it from range, and he actually did even, he got slept during the rocket barrage too, so.
Well, I mean, it stands to reason because he did it kind of out in midair, and I don't think
in the open.
I don't think he had Envy there with him. Kareev just got 20% of his ultimate with one shot, by the way. He smashed Coolmat for about half of his HP with a headshot. pretty nice. See Moomer now. I like that Moomer on the Roadhog. That's a bit of fun.
I mean, Kareev on Widowmaker has been 42% scoped accuracy, 22% crit hit accuracy.
That's so big.
Been landing a ton of headshots. As, now the Outlaws have started to come alive, so they're starting to push them back a little bit with this double off tank setup, where a Roadhog is not a traditional main tank, but now that he obviously has such a large HP pool, then he can self-heal, and then a little bit of damage reduction with that self-heal as well.
He has an effective HP pool of almost 1,000 because he has 600. He gets, what, 300 from a Take a Breather, but he also has damage reduction during Take a Breather, which is like a 30% damage reduction. So you can, that is effective health. Damage reduction is effective health. So this guy's got about a 1k HP. It's pretty nice.
And he can just pay on the payload, right? And I know Raucus can heal him from range. This Raucus can stay pretty safe, and how much healing does Moom even need, right? I mean, he just walks right up to the payload. Nobody wants to fight him. Looks like the Valiant
trying to go around.
It looks like the Valiant have gotten really split here in deciding what they want to do. It looks like they have bait in the back, just trying to cause trouble for the rest of the members of the Outlaws, and then they've tried to push everybody over towards this right side. And how Jake going up on that high ground with the Riptire, able to find Verbo.
The look of concentration on Jake's face as he realized that he had to dodge all these projectiles to get in there.
And Fade, it doesn't work out with him pushing all the way in the backline, tries to jump out. Muma actually connects with him on Roadhog. So you take out 2 players there. Kareev looking for a shot.
Kareev apparently, just a side note, he's trying to learn French. He asked Soon to teach him French. Soon refused, so he asked Twitch chat to teach him French. And we all know that's not a very good idea at all. So yeah, good on Kareev. Definitely wants to learn. Whole hog here from Moomin though from the high ground, so this denies high ground away from the Valiant. They really can't get up on those ledges at all. But Kareev's found, boy, is this the thread that comes out of the ugly Christmas sweater, Matt, that ends up unraveling it? It might be. Links are going down to that self-destruct. It's really nasty. Now Cormac realizes he's going to be beset up on all sides, so he tries to focus on Verbo, but he's far too mobile right now. Verbo just scoots out of the way. He had Valkyrie. He can just fly wherever he pleases. And now Cormac's in Bunny Blaster form. He could be staggered or just taken out. It may not matter because the Valiant are so close. This is the series hanging in the balance. The Outlaws have been looking so good, but they're on a lost streak right now, and the Valiant need a win desperately. Yesterday was so demoralizing. The Battle of LA, losing that one out. They knew they wanted more. They needed more, and Moom is down. Kareev being brought back to life. Now Jake, Boink, putting themselves in jail right now. Soon would love to keep them there. He's got the keys, but the Outlaws do not. 3-0. The Los Angeles Valiant will take the series regardless of the result of the final map, and that is a boost they sorely needed.
Valiant have come in today, I think, surprised a ton of people with their performance against the Outlaws after a tough match last night against the Gladiators. They have bounced back in a big way, and towards the end we saw Cool Matt. He was up on that high ground, but he actually tried to throw his self-destruct off of the roof, and it got just caught on the edge there, and it didn't actually make it all the way through. They weren't able to make it happen. It's the Valiant who will take the series. We'll see if Houston can get a map win on the board in our next game coming right up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
everyone, welcome back. We're just about to head into map number 4. But before that, I want to relay some information I gained throughout our halftime. Currently, the Valiant are up 3-0, and I got to talk to their coaches about their preparation coming into their matches this very week. And they actually said that they kind of got lucky because they played against the Gladiators yesterday and today against the Outlaws. And that's two teams who heavily rely on good tanks. You know, it didn't quite work against the Gladiators yesterday. They weren't able to really shut down Fisher. However, because their preparation for such strong tanks overlapped and they were able to like find a kind of strategy which will work against both teams, they're looking really good today against the Outlaws as they're effectively shutting down Muma as well as Coolmat. Let's see if they can, you know, continue doing so and put on more pressure on the Outlaws, or if the Outlaws will get back onto map number 4. We find out in just a bit, and for that, we're going to head over to our casters, Uber and X.
Thank you very much, Zoe, digging the jacket, by the way. Did you know, Matt?
Yeah.
That if the Outlaws lose this next match, it would have been the longest map winning streak of any team in the Overwatch League so far.
Losing streak.
Map losing streak.
Yeah.
Beating out Shanghai's map losing streak.
Which obviously, you know, Houston doesn't want to do.
No,
they want to
I think they'd like to avoid that.
Yeah, and look, they had a tremendous run, you know, in stage 1. So it's a long winning streak.
And it's bizarre because this team's 9-5, so it's like they're playing badly. It's just the last couple of weeks have been especially tough for them. And it's funny, we wondered, Matt, you know, we said, are the Outlaws a patch team? Is it from patch to patch? We said, no. I think, you know, Monty suggested it first. Then he apologized for saying that. Then he retracted his apology recently on Watchpoint. So it's, you know, it's clear to see that the Outlaws definitely, it's a crisis of confidence, perhaps of identity right now they're suffering through. This series is lost to them, but at least a map win here will definitely help bolster them forward and break the lost streak.
Yeah, I obviously think there's a lot of work for the Outlaws to do to get back on track.
Are they a patch team?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they have enough talent that would lead you to believe they would be able to figure it out. I think we've seen in the past these players have success in previous patches and different, you know, iterations of the game that I think, you know, may be a little bit too early to tell. You know, obviously, you know, Boink comes in now playing support all the time, right? Bonnie played pretty much throughout all of stage 1. He was a Mercy player for them. You didn't really see them. They started Clockwork a little bit earlier in stage 1, but then they went away from it. Now you see them back in the lineup in stage 2. So there's still a lot of moving parts here with the Outlaws that you haven't figured out. There's some other players, right? I mean, so we've seen Spree come in, some more subs on Kings Row, specifically for Houston. I know maybe we'll see Fact Fiction as the stage goes on some maps. Maybe we'll see Mendo as well. So there's still a lot of different parts to put together here for the Outlaws.
Oh, I like this. Neither the Outlaws nor the Valiant have won Route 66 yet in stage 2. Obviously, that has to change after this map. But more interestingly,
unless neither team touched the payload. The payload stayed motionless.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only way you can draw a full escort map. This is why, by the way, full escort maps are at the end of the series, so we don't get a draw there. But that's curious, right? That also might mean that we might see like something fun or maybe just more of a scrappy affair if these two teams are maybe less refined on this map.
Looks like Reeve will be playing Widowmaker yet again as he is
Shot
playing Widow at a very high level. As Houston will come out, interesting, no main tank again. They'll run this Roadhog Diva combination, which I really enjoyed during stage 1 when we saw NYXL do. I think it was very good, but I'm not too sure about it right now, though. Yeah. You have Widowmaker on the other side.
I like to call this the hook and book, you know. Muma comes in there, pulls someone in, and then Jake links her. They're both there with huge damage outputs, front-loaded damage outputs, just to wreck whatever target he pulls in. Muma's going looking. He's the initiator here. It's interesting, right? His instigator role on Winston is slightly different to the one on Roadhog here. He's just looking for hooks. He can't really dive on people. He has to stay with his team, but he's kind of leading them, dragging them forward, saying, hey, let's get these targets. That's massive. That is so massive. Jake just walks around a corner. Kareev, the slap down.
And Kareev knew exactly that Jake was coming up around that backside, trying to put pressure on him. Kareev already has his ultimate. Going to use an infra sight here to gain a ton of vision. Able to take out Blixer as well. And you know, the Reaper, well, Jake's going to make a switch now to Tracer instead of Reaper. But with the Reaper and McCree, two very slow moving DPS heroes with a little bit of like larger hitboxes, right? Just comparison to somebody like a Tracer or a Genji, just easier to hit those heroes.
Yeah, just, I mean, they're mobile in their own ways, but not consistently mobile. McCree's conditionally mobile, so is Reaper.
It's a lot of nice targets for Kareev, right? I mean, he's got Roadhog, Diva, McCree, and at that moment, Reaper to shoot at. A lot of easy big targets.
All right, Kareev's got a slight annoyance here in his field of vision. See Jake pushing towards him, trying to get close enough, but you see Jake couldn't get any damage through. There was so much healing there from Verbo. Kareev was able to stay alive. Now it needs to even the ledger though. With Soon being down to Linksa, Kareev's at least responded. So Boy's been removed from the fight. The Valiant had that high ground control. They're grouping up around Verbo, who just read Soon. This is massive. Raucus isn't going to be able to hang on that payload for long, and no, he goes down. Jake's backing away with hardly any HP. Now, if you're sitting at home and watching this game or in the arena, and it's looking a bit weird and feels chaotic, that's because it actually is. This Houston Outlaws composition, when it's sort of Roadhog driven, it's sort of very hard to know where the fight's going to start or where the first pick is going to be. Is it Lynx or is it Muma? It's just a different approach to the normal dive sort of setup, the very telegraphed approach we normally see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like two factors, right? I mean, if Muma pushes up, finds players, connects with hooks, then Houston's going to be the aggressor. If he doesn't, then they just kind of stand around and like wait for the hook to come off of cool down again, as it's going to be Raucus who gets the better of Unko this time. Opening things up. It'll be Verbo using Valkyrie, maybe potentially going to be able to get a res off here onto Unko.
What? Okay, Linksa throws a flash in the gap there and actually catches Kareev out, pressuring him down. What a clever man. Threads the needle there with that E ability. So this is a pure pick composition. So the Outlaws want to just pick people off from range, find an opportunity, an opening, and now they found it. And you can see that the Valiant are in disarray.
Well, the Valiant had 4 players alive, and they never actually get to the payload, as Unko, unfortunately, walks all the way from the spawn just to come back, just to go back to spawn. So Kareev will switch to Soldier 76. Very good in the second part of this map to start controlling some of that high ground.
Jake and IDDQD, both number 66, it's their player number. IDDQD's is because he loves McCree, and obviously he considers Route 66 to be McCree's home ground. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. Jake as well, 66, I'm not sure what it is for him.
He loves McCree as well.
Yeah, I guess he does, although he doesn't really get to play it. Boomer now taking a breather. You can see the damage reduction helps, but there was too much burst being aimed at him. I like that though. It's almost like the selfless level spawn camp strat that were sitting right up in front and trying to prevent the Valiant from making any progress. And when there's a Roadhog there who can soak so much damage, it can be a very effective approach. And that's Raucus again. Second fight in a row. He picks Unko off. The pulse bomb from Jake's just the cherry on top as Kareev goes down.
Yeah, Jake is starting to come alive here on Tracer. You know, 4 final blows, 6 eliminations. They've started to make some progress. It'll be Transcendence used from both sides. It'll be Envy launching a self-destruct into the sky as well. Be the kills, though, going in way of the Valiant. Muma trying to back up, help Raucus as well, because Raucus has been pushed all the way out. Pretty much underneath that little the little underpass, but it'll be a recall for Jake.
Very early recall. Well, at least it felt kind of early there. He was kind of getting a bit of attention from Soon, but he had a blink charge, I think, to get away. Still up through it. I mean, it really doesn't mean anything. It's kind of just a very minor thing when Tracers decide to recall away.
I wonder if Muma will switch off of this Roadhog. Okay,
you don't have a Riptide,
he's going to go to Winston here, because you do have Linksa going over to Genji, so this is going to be more of a dive composition that comes out from the Houston Outlaws. It's a real good test at it for Houston. We haven't really seen them play this composition too much throughout the series.
No, it's a super new from them. So maybe it's a hint of something to come, something they're working on. Not a bad time to try it. Move it down to Soon, though. Jake's on the lower level and taking a lot of damage. He's going to have to recall in a couple seconds. Yep, there it is. I think he had a poison mine or something similar from Kareev. He had to get out. Jake, very low. Unfortunately, couldn't get much done there. A lot of pressure on him and Kareev. Just seconds after he bats Jake down with the SMG mode on that rifle, turns around and slaps Raucus. Who are you waving at, fam?
A little bit of a wave.
You don't have infrared on?
Yes, no, we've been watching him. He's been crushing this series. As connects with a body shot on the Linkser. So, he just keeps landing these shots consistently. Whether it's not really headshots, right? I mean, only 8% crit accuracy, 45% scoped accuracy so far.
That is, the crit accuracy for me is what's so important. Like hitting them headshots, actually completing those kills on his own.
Well, the thing is he's had some big bodies to shoot into, right? A Roadhog earlier in the game. It'll be Soon who takes out Raucus early. As it also is Houston using their sound barrier here too. So you use sound barrier, your first support dies. That'll be the second one at the hands of Soon.
Kareev getting left upon there as well. It's pretty ballsy to play Widowmaker on this stage of the map where the enemy team now is switching towards the Winston again. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kareev actually switched on his own, even to a 76 or something similar. Now he's facing Muma's Winston and not the Roadhog. It seems riskier. 25 seconds left. Pulse by this one. Kareev went down. It was Fate was the target, but he flies past the Widowmaker on the high ground and takes his teammate out. I've seen that happen before. It's never pretty.
Yeah, Fate gets hit with the pulse bomb, jumps, tries to get out, and he goes right into the Kareev's face. It'll be Transcendence used by the Outlaws, keeping everybody up. They need to use this ultimate, obviously. Only 5 seconds left on the clock. need to advance the payload. Fate will get out of his life. So soon is behind them. He's over by the Mega Health Pack.
They know he's there, though.
Where the next spawn would be. But he just needs to be a nuisance and just have Jake go all the way back. Because you have Primal Raging Winston coming up the spawn here.
Jake's got him down
the
to half
Valiant.
HP off screen. Kareev comes in. This is why it's kind of scary for a Reaper. Linksa puts so much damage back towards Reaper then. Now the Primal Rage. Fate, look at the Raucus there, trying to get up on the roofs. Raucus is chilling. He doesn't care. Surfing down the rooftops. And Linksa, who's going to eat his Dragon Blade? Right now, he actually hasn't been able to find any good targets. And Kareev, it's a face full of shotgun. Lovely work from Soon now, combining with Kareev. Coolmat's been removed from the map now. It's going to be boinking over the payload. Raucus approaching from the backside. It's just two supports against the entire wrath of the city of Los Angeles. I don't fancy that at all. It seems the Outlaws don't either, and that's it. They get stopped in their tracks just outside the second checkpoint. Not what they would have wanted at all. Credit to the Valiant, making every meter, or foot, what do you call them here? You call them feet, right? Foot, hard paid for.
It was a very good defense there from the Valiant. Usually we see the payload kind of go all the way through that second phase.
Usually it breezes through.
Yeah, usually it just kind of moseys on through, goes to that final phase of the map, but the Outlaws not able to do that today. Something interesting for the Valiant, we didn't see them play a Sombra on defense. Usually Sombra pretty good here on Route 66.
Wow, she's been incredible in the hands of teams like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Sort of seen it attempted from Dallas yesterday.
Maybe we see it out of the Houston Outlaws on defense here. And
well, they've got, I mean, Raucus is an incredibly good Sombra.
Yes.
Very good.
I will say, a lot of the talk right last week was, Jake's Tracer play, whatnot. He probably plays the best out of the Outlaws on that. First offensive attack, 12 elims, 9 final blows, leads the teams in both of those categories, only 3 deaths as well. So I know, trying to do what he can on the Tracer role.
I thought he did well in that map as well. You saw him, pressuring down Soon fairly well. Soon was trying to sort of be the cheeky man that he is. He's that one player that really loves to just hide in corners and just to wait and, sort of try and spawn camp people or stagger them out or, sneak payloads across. So Jake, his job, I could see his job was to keep tabs on him as he went through. So this would be an interesting setup for the Outlaws. So Jake's going to be on the Sombra here. They're going to keep the double support set up. Links are on the Tracer. Muma, please.
We just haven't.
Please!
we just haven't seen an answer for Kareev's Widowmaker, though. I mean, I feel like Soon has had some great maps throughout this series, but the constant has been Kareev's Widowmaker. In the first half, 9 final blows for Kareev, able to just put down a ton of damage as well.
Okay, well, what do you think about a Sombra Tracer threatening a Widow? Do you think there's enough pressure there?
Well, I think Jake can get into the backline, obviously going invisible, as Sombra can put some shots down onto Kareev.
Like this?
Maybe even get a hack off on him, right? We've seen that, where a hack can't use the grapple to get out of harm's way, and then a Tracer come in to finish them off. It's maybe we should have saw Links. That
shot could have been
he's hit some incredible shots, and then that one is the one he misses.
Raucus was literally there. Zenyatta was dabbing. He still did get hit. And then he responds by taking Kareev down from that high ground, because Kareev didn't really move too much from that position. So, I saw a very brief shake of the head from Fate there. It's time to pull out for the Valiant. This allows Jake to get in behind enemy lines. Get close to that EMP. See this damage. Look what it gives him. Nice fine. Translocator. Come on, Matt. You play something.
I know. I just always get scared when I see players go off the map, especially with like an Unco foot to the face. Off the
Bit of a Cossack kick of doom, as it were. Jake's close to an EMP now. He won't use it on this translocate use, but he'll have that off cooldown in a couple of seconds, and then it will be go time.
Which you're really just playing around the Sombra EMP on the defense.
Oh, that's a big pulse bomb. So, you never see Tracers really get hit by pulse bombs because they always have that recall available, but Soon didn't. Linksa knew that, and he knew that it was safe to commit the pulse bomb. Clever man.
So it would be huge if, for the Valiant side, I think one of these supports will get caught by the EMP. It's just whether if they can keep one of them further away. Verbo. Okay, so Verbo doesn't get caught with it. He uses the Valkyrie right away. They do drop Unco pretty much instantly, though.
I don't think Jake got anyone else in that EMP except for...
Oh, he got one. He got Unco.
Yeah, that was it, because he was behind the rock, so there wasn't any line of sight to any of the enemy units. I don't know if that's a worthwhile use of the EMP at all. I mean, we'll have to see. Linksa walks over the poison mine there, if I'm not mistaken. Soon being healed up, pocketed there. A lot of healing from Verbo being delivered so far in this round. Quick pit stop there to give some extra ult percentage over to Jake, and Linksa still in the fight, close to yet another pulse bomb. 2-in-2 fights would be nice. He's thinking about Unco. He's looking juicy right now, but Verbo might be the option. He's got him. Another stick with the pulse bomb on two of the hardest targets to hit. First the Tracer, then a Mercy, then it's lights out. Finally, Soon shuts him down.
And Jake is actually pushing Kareev up on that top bridge, and Kareev just turns to his left and hits a headshot onto him as Jake has that EMP.
Okay, Kareev.
So now you do have a 4v4 scenario. Jake will actually come back on spawn, get back towards that. Kareev switches off of Widow, goes over to Reaper here. So Reaper is one of the pretty good heroes. Even when getting EMP'd, it'll be a pulse bomb from Soon onto Coolman, gets him very low. It'll be Transcendence used by Unko trying to keep his teammates alive as they try and push on through.
I mean, if you love Tracer, this is the match to watch. Jake had the Translocator again and the EMP. He's just lacking teammates right now. That's kind of the issue. No follow-up would be there for an EMP, so I'd say Jake tries to back away, waits for the rest of the Outlaws to see if they can contest, but the payload's just far too close. Save it for the second stage. That's when they really need to dig their feet in. The Valiant are getting close now. They can smell it. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to get another 87 odd meters, as it seems, just outside that final stage.
You're going to use the EMP right away, because most likely you'll see Jake switch off of this Sombra, I would say. As Coolman's going to push in, get Kareev. We'll see what Jake decides to do. Maybe if you get control of this choke and you get control of that mega health pack, he stays on Sombra here.
What do you reckon about the sound barrier in that fight? Jake had already EMP'd and the Outlaws are looking really good, but Point goes for that sound barrier anyway.
I think they're in a position where you need to win every fight, knowing how fast you can kind of snowball in through this second part of the map. That if the Valiant win that fight, they make it all the way to the bridge, and then what? You never really get a great use of that sound barrier.
Does that mean it's easier for the Valiant to force ultimates out of the Outlaws here?
I would say so, right? Because they have to invest heavy to be able to win these fights constantly, right? If you're the Valiant,
they can't take any risks.
Yeah, if you're the Valiant, I mean, maybe just dive on a Raucous, right? Get him to use Transcendence here. You just saw that sound barrier come out. You're able to win that next fight.
Self-destructing over the top. Kareev doesn't care. Raucous, he had to go for it. It's easy to force those ultimates out, and Kareev knew it. He's waiting for a chance to use the Death Blossom, and this is the timing for it. He gets hacked out of it, though. His dance is cut short. Coolmat finds both Kareev and Soon there. Jake, great job for him. That could have been lethal to the Outlaws. Everyone being cut to ribbons by the Death Blossom, but instead, he is silenced. The music is turned off. The boombox is crushed underfoot. But the Valiant haven't stopped yet.
Yeah, Unko uses Transcendence to keep everybody topped up inside this health pack room. And the health pack obviously controlled by Jake playing Sombra. As now the payload is starting to move. You have Fate here with Primal Rage. Could get up to that doorway, start knocking people back.
That could be it.
Soon there with a Pulse Bomb as well as they push the Linkser out. That's going to be the Tracer falling. That is not ideal. Jake makes a change. He goes over to Reaper here, trying to get back towards the payload.
Lynx is back in 2 seconds here. He's so far behind, and the payload is hurtling towards the end of the map. Kareev waiting on the edge here, waiting to get towards them. Pulse Bomb dropped in. It's more of a, to persuade them not to walk out the door than anything else. It doesn't get the kill, but Jake comes out of shadow form with only about 20 HP. There was no chance of him ever surviving that. And now Kareev, does he go for Linkser? Or for the tanks for that easy healing? Right now he decides just to back away. Discretion, of course, being the better part of Valor. But I know the Valiant can smell it, Matt. They're so close and the blood's in the water. Verbo down, self-destruct being used by Coolmat and over the point, and Fate's just trying to hide behind the payload. Envy gets rid of Coolmat, he gets a second. Linkser falls down and Kareev now it's just movement, trying to hang on desperately. No, Jake drops in. It's of course gonna be the Transcendence from Unko. A clean sweep. Just not even 24 hours. After getting smashed by their rival home team, the Valiant bounced back in the biggest way possible. Not only winning it out 4-0, but handing Houston Outlaws the longest map winning streak so far in the Overwatch League.
It's such a surprise.
Map losing streak.
Yeah,
I said that, right?
Yeah, you said that.
Did I say winning again?
Yeah, you said winning again.
Losing!
The losing streak for the Outlaws as they drop 0-4 today to the Valiant. The Valiant making up some maps after their tough loss yesterday to the Gladiators in an 0-4 fashion. But man, Kareev finishes that map 21 limbs, 16 final blows. Don't know if there's any more questions about him being a DPS player.
Right, I mean, well, we knew that. It was more, what kind of DPS player was he? We wanted it was just consistent, silent achiever. It doesn't seem to be the case. The man highlighted this match on multiple maps. Very big performance from him. Soon woke up there. We saw Lynxie going to the Tracer. I mean, if you love Tracer, this was definitely the match to go back and watch if you're just joining us.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
They were swept last night against their rivals, but the Valiant have bounced back, and they now will whip out the broomsticks for the 4-0 sweep over the Houston Outlaws. Welcome back, everyone. Golden Boy here. And, you know, I mean, gentlemen, reinforced crumbs, we have an interesting situation in our hands because the Gladiators, you know, really looked strong against the Valiant yesterday. And we were thinking to ourselves, oh, maybe Valiant aren't as good as we had thought. Then they come out here and they just, I don't know what happened from last night to tonight.
It was the opponents, I believe, is what really is happening here, because the Gladiators played very assertive last night. They were actually coordinating dives onto the backline. They were pushing way past the payload to make sure that they would zone and get control of high ground before they go and take the payload, whereas now the Outlaws were very passive. They're just kind of waiting and let the Valiant do what they want. If you let anybody here in the Overwatch League do what they want, they're going to just
do what they want.
They will just win, because that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, it comes down a lot to tank play, actually. You want your front line to give your DPS the most amount of space. And were you gonna crack a joke, Alex?
No, I wasn't.
No?
I just love everything that Alberto did.
Okay, so I'll continue with my analysis. Yeah, so it comes down to tank positioning, sure. So I think that Fate and Envy actually outperformed a bit Mooma and Coolmat here, I think. So it gave a lot more space to Kareev, and we talked about Kareev before in the halftime break. He started popping off, and he was a huge pillar in this game, actually, and Unko as well. These guys had so much space and room to work with, and I think that was the difference maker. And it comes down to Fate and Envy, in my opinion.
I mean, you had moments where you have Cool Matt shooting away a Bunny Blaster for 30 seconds trying to get a mech back. That's 30 seconds on the clock just to get the mech back, then to reposition, then to set up your play. You know, you're just wasting time the entire thing. The Outlaws just don't look like themselves right now.
Yeah, well, typically when we talk about Mooma as one of the best tanks, we talk about him just being a silent assassin, going for the backline, going for the supports, of course. But when it comes to actually playing with positioning in the front line, of course, and establishing some space on the payload, it's a different matter. It's a different game, of course. So I don't think Mooma looked as comfortable in that today. And then, of course, they couldn't deal with Soon. So Soon was an annoyance.
That was just like the story of this match, though, was Soon all over the place. Everything that he did was working today.
Well, right, because he's not feeling any pressure. There's nobody challenging him. You have a Tracer that the Tracers were not able to keep up with him, and then Widowmakers are barely able to keep up with him. Just any shot every once in a while. The tanks weren't doing such a good job in taking care of the Tracers, so it becomes really hard to deal with them. And then when you let these DPS players, tanks players just off the leash, of course they're going to perform. That's why they're here, because if you have free space, they will just show up. Otherwise, it becomes a lot more competitive when you start pressuring them, and then you try to really see who edges each other out.
Yeah, but now moving forward for the Valiant, they're going to have some big matches. Florida will be up next for them, and then Boston as well as Philadelphia. So these are, like, for the Valiant now, this is time to start tacking on some wins here, make that run potentially once again for the stage.
But that might actually be quite annoying, because now they beat Houston 4-0 and people are like, oh, on the board the Los Angeles Valiant type train again. Here we go, shoo. But then,
true.
But then again, they play versus the Florida Mayhem. They like to play Twick on the Genji and Logix on the Tracer, and then they play Gladiators. Did you say? I mean, no.
They play Upright.
Yes, of course. So they're playing against these dive-heavy teams again, and they struggle versus the Gladiators. But can they deal with that, the other aggressive teams in the league? That's the question.
You saw how much they struggled when Houston was running Tracer and Sombra on Route 66.
Yeah, it's
they
faster,
were stalled out forever, really, and you really see the impact of having that much pressure in the backline, and how the Los Angeles Valiant, you know, they're on a good
immediately
momentum.
the Valiant are struggling.
But exactly, it was palpable. You could tell how quickly they were struggling to figure out. It was just solo Jake, really. He was blowing solo EMP to take out the Zenyatta without anything else happening, and that was enough to stall out this game.
Yeah, so it comes down to the play styles, and I think that Valiant, sure, they can deal with the more passive teams in the league, but they also have to learn how to deal with the aggression. Beautiful pulse bomb, by the way, onto Soon right there. But they have to learn how to deal with these more pressure situations where they go up against the Genji and go up against a really good Tracer, because that's their issue right now.
Yeah, it was, you know, Linkster was raindrop at the end there, just, you know, making it rain, just throwing down, you know, those pulse bombs, but ultimately it wouldn't be enough. A bit too late, too little too late there, unfortunately, for the Houston Outlaws, who now moving forward for them, they would have Florida as well as the LA Gladiators and San Francisco Shock. Those last two teams, honestly feeling themselves quite a bit after Shock's victory yesterday, and then, you know, the Gladiators in the battle for LA with a dominating 4-0. So the road doesn't get any easier for Houston here, Crumbs.
I think for both teams, any opponent they face right now is just legitimate question marks. Are they going to be able to take them on? Possibly, right? The Valiant, if a team is actually putting pressure on them, they might collapse against teams in much lower tiers than they are. But if they don't, they could just 4-0 anybody right now. So these teams are still just
I think both of these are not looking like stage contender, stage 2 playoff contenders. I think right now they're both too much of question marks. So we'll have to see how they develop moving forward, of course, this season.
Yeah, but who is your player of the match?
My player of the match?
Yes.
It's the Frenchman. It's too soon. It is soon, of course.
Yes,
the
right.
player. He was amazing throughout this series. So, Omen by HP, of course, our player of the match.
Hitting it. I want you to host one day, Johnny. So
I'll be the host.
For it,
I'll be
man.
the host. Spectacular plays coming out, of course, out of Zoom this evening. Crumbs, over to you.
You're even taking his lines, right? Look at the toss.
What do you think, Crumbs?
What do I think? I think that Soon, when left unchecked, is one of the best tracers in the world. However, this is why you have players that develop specific play styles in the 1v1 against other tracers, like say Biobi. You try to master the ability to 1v1 the other tracers so that you can have a field day like he did. And sure, 40,000 damage done in over 4 maps, so you could just average that out, 10,000 every map, but the solo kills, a lot of them were onto opposing tracers and DPS. Supports, just priority target.
And I would agree with you that he's one of the best tracers in the league when it comes to killing the supports, I would say specifically, because he couldn't deal with Asher yesterday versus the Gladiators, of course. So I'm not so sure that Soon's ability to shut down other tracers is really there yet. But he has shown, especially versus Dallas Fuel when they sweeped Dallas Fuel 4-0. I mean, the way Soon shuts down the back line of teams, the Zenyatta, the Lucios, it's just superstar.
And that is your Omen by HP player of the match. See, Johnny? Yeah. That's how you do it, Bobby. You just gotta hit those transitions. Okay?
I'll hype up the crowd.
You gotta do it. All right, I like that. We're gonna do it. I know, right?
Careful what you wish for.
I know. We're gonna have to.
Where were you when Shanghai Dragons got their first win?
Ooh, look at this. It's getting spicy.
Getting spicy.
It's getting spicy. I like this. All right, guys. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for the breakdown. But we have one more game remaining. That's right, folks. It's going to be the Boston Uprising going up against the Shanghai Dragons. You don't want to miss it. And it's going to be taking place after this.